Mic check 1 2 1
Mic
2.
Mic
Well,
check. Mic check.
now that we're all warmed up here,
Fuck you.
good
Well, let's
Joe.
not get this twisted.
You're a
My ego
ass.
suffered a serious blow in the game we just played before
Joe,
jumping
you're a-
on.
Pew pew.
I know.
Pew pew pew.
I-
Pew pew
I'm
pew pew
sad.
pew pew.
Keenan, the
depressed.
question is, how do you kill that which has no life?
I know.
Wait a minute.
That has
That's
no
a
soul.
shot to me. Welcome one, welcome all to episode 20 of the None of Our Business podcast.
Ooh.
We are your hosts, Philly Fanatic Philanthropy, P Style,
yes.
P Genius, P Philosophy.
Okay,
Are
that's
you gonna do
good.
your
That's good.
beatbox while he's doing this?
What the? Keenan, C-section, CNN Dunkaroos. And I'm Joe. We're just started off beautifully.
C notice.
C notice, C-section.
See these nuts.
See,
See your way out of here.
That's what Joe says
After
when he
each
beats me.
fight.
I know. Hey, we're back.
Hey, real quick, guys.
Happy everything.
Happy everything. Wait, what
Wait,
are you
what?
celebrating? What?
We're celebrating the life and times of
Okay. Yeah.
This-
You know, I thought you were a little wittier than that.
I
but-
thought so too. I was coming up with something sick or disgusting.
Keenan
I
was
couldn't
like,
think of it.
yeah, I'm going to make it somehow. It's just going to work. As soon as I say it,
It's good.
it's going to be there.
And it came and nothing came out.
Real quick, we're celebrating 20 episodes, guys.
Yay.
I've been getting a gang of hit ups for us to actually record a toast song.
Toast
Like
song?
to
Toast
legit,
song?
What do you
we
mean?
record a toast song.
What's a toast song?
Remember
Toast.
that toast song that we
Toast.
did?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
I'm
toast
getting hit up.
song.
Everybody wants us
I
to do
haven't
a
even
toast
listened
song.
back. I don't even remember if it was funny or not. Was
Well,
it?
it's funny enough for people to request an actual toast song.
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow. Wait,
So we should consider it.
It was like
oh,
something
ladies and
like
gentlemen.
doo-doo,
I
Yeah.
want some toast.
doo-doo,
See, you already
I
know.
want your toast.
Yeah.
doo-doo,
I
doo-doo,
want some toast.
Yeah.
doo-doo, doo-doo,
I want your
ba-dum,
toast.
boom, boom,
I want your toast.
boom,
I want some toast.
boom,
I want your toast.
boom,
Give me some toast. I want your toast. Your toast.
With
your
a little
toast.
bit of jelly.
I want your
Between
toast.
that toast.
I want some toast. I want your toast. I need some toast. I want some toast.
hey,
I need some toast. I want your toast. I have some toast. You want some toast? I got some toast. We have some toast.
Toast on the butter
He has some toast.
and the butter on the toast.
She has some toast.
So that's what they want?
That's what
Like
I
a
want.
real
Something
song.
something along those lines. I don't know. Something along those lines.
So fellas,
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember how it goes.
Wait a minute. So we're gonna legit be like the minority version of Lonely Island.
We're getting there. We're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sleep on us.
There you go.
The
Or
new
you can sleep
podcast.
on me. You can. I'll take it.
He
You know what?
needs
I'll
it.
I'm bad.
Can we get into it just off the bat, just
What?
off the gate? You want to get into that?
Oh, what? How desperately
your
I'm-
little
I'm trying to-
situation?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of situations that's going on. First, I want to say that Billy lost it.
I almost spit my shit out.
Uh, explosive diarrhea is no joke.
Wait,
That's not what I was talking
what?
about. All right,
And-
take it there.
And it really sucks. It really sucks when you have it.
Did you eat tacos and get explosive diarrhea again,
Well,
Keenan?
it is related to the event that happened last night.
Okay, okay. Fuck with it.
But yeah, I don't know what it was or what happened, but it's a real cause, and I feel for all those out there who have.
This isn't a
explosive-
soapbox yet, Keenan.
I know. Get it together.
Oh, I guess I could have used that for my soapbox.
You could have.
Damn,
You could just still can. Just
I got
suck it
plenty-
away.
I got a lot of soapbox stuff.
All
I
right.
got all
Hey,
over the
let's
place.
just
You wanna
wrap it
cut
up.
it?
Snip that.
Just wrap it up.
Let's get to the
Oh.
main event. Let's get to the main event.
Well, you're excited about it. Philly, well, maybe Philly knows about it. Oh yeah, he does. So I got drunk last night and a little high.
You weren't the only one, buddy.
Hey.
And I wound up going to a club, quote unquote, with ladies dancing on stage.
Bottles in the club.
And this was after whatever DJ they had at the Federal Bar on Saturday was like, I don't want to crap on anybody's job, but that person sucked ass. And the DJ, I actually went out to smoke on the balcony. They have a balcony. It was awesome. And then I was telling my buddy who was there with me, shout out to Marcus, DJ Marcus Aurelius, who's playing on April 25th at the 6th Canby. Basically, I was telling him the DJ's not playing anything that makes me want to stop what I'm doing out here and go in there and dance.
Bad DJ.
I actually got kind of bored where I was like,
super bad.
These two ladies were next to me. I was like, and the whole time I was building myself up, like, oh, I just want to dance, you know. And then I wound up.
I just want to dance.
I know. I just want to get out there.
Just grab a female by the hand, like, bitch, you're dancing.
Well, I did.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't work.
It is very awkward at the club because when you want to ask somebody to dance, I don't know. There seems to be like some negative curtain that, and I don't blame them, that females have on guys at the moment they even just walking up.
Oh my God.
It's like, I can see that they want nothing to do with me.
Like, what is he thinking? I'd actually dance here? Oh my God.
It's so weird.
Why would I even dance with that guy at this place? Oh my God.
And it's like, you want us to be confident and all that shit. And it's like, you're going to there's an automatic shot down already stored up, ready to fire. And so I can see the look on their face, but I powered through and I was like, do you ladies want to dance? It was two of them and they're by themselves. And I was like,
right.
And then one of them looked at the other and was like, oh yeah, you go out there with like a petty toss this here.
She sent the mother hen sent one of the mini hens to go out.
Almost like here, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. You should do it. And I was like, no, us three. I'm not a guy that's trying. I'm not trying to.
That's right.
I'm not trying to mess with anybody. And I just want to dance. And I need somebody to dance with because I don't want to dance by myself on the floor. So that's what I was trying to signal. And that actually happened. This is way getting away from the point of what Joe was talking about.
You're laying down the groundwork.
So it got very boring. The ladies weren't dancing. I might as well have just been dancing by myself anyway.
Girls just want to have fun.
My buddy and I agreed to just go to a place that we have been to before, which is this club out in Chatsworth. And
club.
And
bottles full of weed.
So I kept drinking there. And what happened was one of the dancers that I paid to have a lap dance before, who's really, really good.
Oh wait, so you were at a strip club, not a club?
No, well,
or you were at the club and then went to a strip club. Skirt, pull up.
And this is why I'm broke.
Okay.
But this is why I'm broke. This is why I'm broke. This is why
I'm broke. I'm broke because I am. You're broke because you're not. So I went and drank at this place, but so this one dancer, and I know the rule, you're not supposed to do this, but I was drunk and inebriated, so it happened to me. And it does happen to guys too, more often than not.
Because you're not a guy?
And it shouldn't. No, I'm getting to the point where the dancer I had before that was there that night, and I wanted to have another one, was grinding up and flirting with this dude at the bar.
So you're saying you had a dance with this girl?
Yeah.
One of the dancers. You paid her. She did her job.
Yeah.
And you wanted a second dance.
I wanted another one, but that first dance was a while ago. It was like a couple weeks ago, and she knows who I am, and she's familiar with my face and everything. She even said hi to me.
So it's been a regular thing.
Yeah. But she was all over this guy, and he was just sitting at the bar chilling.
Dropping stacks.
And she was rubbing her butt in his crotch, and he was grabbing her ass and her thighs and pulling close, and like
you weren't having
doing all the stuff you're not really supposed to do at those places. But when I usually see those and I'm like coherent and I'm sober, it's like, oh yeah, that's probably her boyfriend or husband or just one of regular customers.
Right,
that she's
a really
cool
good
with.
customer.
Exactly. But I wasn't clear thinking. I was drinking. So.
Your nostrils flared up, started beating on your chest. It was like Planet of the Apes Caesar. He was like, ooh,
it was more like, arf, 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 arf.
Right, so you had that Caesar moment, Planet of the Apes.
And so I was so stupid, but I started to get jealous and angry, and I stood in front of them both with this like angry look on my face. And I was telling my buddy who was next to me how mad and upset I was that she's doing all this stuff for free to this guy and I'm willing to pay. and she's not at least trying to work the crowd to get her money. And so he was trying to calm me down, like, don't worry about it, man. It's like, she ain't your girlfriend, all stuff. Like, and I all knew all this stuff. But obviously, I wasn't thinking. I was drinking. I'm in love with the stripper.
Cianan, rule number 1.
Rule number 3. Rule number 1 is to never fall in love with a stripper. Rule number 2 is to never eat food at a strip club. Rule number 3 is to realize that they are not your property or girlfriend or something like that.
Any woman.
And then, well, yeah, any woman.
Rule number 1 is don't have sex in the champagne room.
Where's this rule book?
It's an unwritten Bible that's located beneath Crazy Girls. And every year,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
A group of men come in robes and they pull out the floor, and we have a little ritual.
Good God, Cianan! I never thought I would hear one of my boys fell in love with a stripper.
I did not. Okay, I didn't fall in love with a stripper.
I was just mad that she didn't want to take my money.
I was drunk. I definitely have my own. I have my rules, and I follow them clearly. Obviously, I was drinking, and I wasn't playing by what I should be. I could have easily just pulled her away and like, I'm 20 for a dance.
You could have pulled out $100 bill.
I could easily, but the thing was, the only time I did come really close to falling in love with a stripper was actually the first time I went. And it usually happens to a lot of guys when the first time they go, because they don't. Oh, they don't
played
expect
you
it
just right, huh?
Well, they're new to it.
Right.
She stroked you a little, and she was like, "What's up, big boy?"
Well, yeah, and
you were like, "My dick."
She told you yours was the biggest she's ever seen.
No, but she was in here, but she was into the jokes I was doing. I'm gonna give away.
She made you think you were funny.
Exactly. Totally got me.
Oh my God, but you're the funniest.
It was the first time, and so
it was like, yeah,
you're stupid.
We actually wound up exchanging numbers too, but it's usually, when you exchange numbers with a dancer, it's usually their work phone. It's not their private personal.
Yeah, she had a burner phone.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't know. I didn't care. First time.
It's her escort phone.
Hey, some of them. Well, yeah. So anyway, it was it was a really nice Latin dancer. She was about, I don't know. It was awesome.
Coke bottle.
She
was about dick height.
Yeah. I mean, well, it was yes.
She was magnificent. She had the ass of a 20-year-old.
I think she was like 2019, something like that.
She had some $20,000.
But that was the first time I actually came close, and then I wound up not going back there because I took it too far. And that was just like, I was like, I can't handle
the story here. Wait, let me hear this.
Wait a minute.
No, you turn down some levels there.
Just some of your laughter.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Sounds good now.
But now I can't hear myself.
Okay,
I can hear you.
Okay.
Now you got to tell us about the story.
Damn it,
that you can't go back now. You open this treasure trove
of Cianan's Esquire service. So this place, I guess I can recommend it. I haven't been back there in a while, but it's called Fantasy Castle over in Long Beach. And
Castle.
It's a really nice spot. They used to not charge. Now it's like $20 to get in.
So you stopped going there for sure.
Yeah, $20 to get in.
That's one dance,
and then the lap dances are $20, and the drinks are. It's just
they're making money hand over fist.
Mad crazy. So what happened was
what happened.
So I became close in my usual banter to attract people. Worked with this one dancer.
So you charmed your pants into
yeah, apparently it was her first time there too. I don't believe that shit. They always say that. But she was like, damn, this is the one. I found my wife. And
you fell in love with a stripper.
It was quick. But again, this was my first time going. It was and it happens to a lot of dudes on their first time. So basically we had a cool banter. Then when I went back again, like a couple weeks later, when she was there, we exchanged phone numbers and stuff like that. Obviously for her it was a business thing. Hey, call me up and meet me here. And then I go like, yeah, sure. But then it actually was like, let's meet up in someplace in Downey or someplace in whatever cities in Southern Los Angeles are. And that was like, oh man, I now crossed over. I'm not just a customer anymore. I can be like a customer and a friend. I can get even closer. And so I wound up
customer and a friend.
I wound up getting drinks. I bought drinks in a cooler and I brought it to have drinks afterwards. This is like the whole Vegas in my car shit story all over again. And this is how I knew I went too far with it. Because I brought drinks to have, after it. And then she wound up agreeing to do that. But then when she got to my car, it sort of fell out. Like it was just super awkward.
Started giving off a rapey vibe.
Yeah, it was just so bad. And I wound up giving her, I think, the cooler with beer. And that was like my cooler. I bought that. I had this in college.
I hope you like me.
And so now she has my cooler. So, and I knew I should never go back there.
If she listens to this, she needs to return that.
Like, yeah, it's a red.
Be like,
red,
yo,
white
bitch,
cooler.
I want my cooler back.
I want my cooler
yeah. But it was bad.
Respectfully,
yeah,
Cianan.
Yeah, it was bad. So that's why I decided to never go back there again.
Lesser men have fallen.
Yeah, they done worse than that. I know that was lighthearted, but I always wonder. There's a lot of these dudes at these places who are like they get away with a lot of stuff, and they're really close to a lot of these girls. They hang out with them. A lot of girls go to their houses and have barbecues with them. Like this is the stuff we do here, and we're hanging out like just average normal stuff. And it's like, what?
It's like my favorite writer from Los Angeles.
I actually went bowling with
said Charles Bukowski. Sex is a lot like money. Seems more important when you don't have it.
Yeah. But that's Cianan's trip
I don't
story.
know. Sex is more than money to me.
Well, of course, sex is more than money to everyone. That's why people trade money for sex.
I haven't done that yet. Although, technically, if you
ever had one of your boys have a conversation with you where they go, if you do the math, which is I think what you were about to say,
yeah, like all the dates and going out and trips and purses and gifts and all that stuff. It's like
that's why you have to know what you're really looking for. Some people will mistake the fact that they want sex for, oh, I need to also be in a relationship with someone. And that's how girls end up brokenhearted and jaded, and guys are like, fuck it, I don't care. Maybe I am a piece of shit. Right? When really, these professionals out there are doing a service that is needed. You just can't be a broke ass dude and expect to get it for free.
Exactly.
But if you do want that, then I guess you just got to be clear with the girls and be like, hey, are you cool with this just being like a thing?
Right,
it's not. But how many people do you think actually have that conversation right before you're about to have sex?
No, you just want to have it. It's like
most guys will take it the next level. They'll even throw in more lies just to make sure they get the sex. Yeah. And that's where guys get a super bad reputation. It's the equivalent of being able to have that conversation where it's like, I'm going to wear a condom, right? Or to ask someone even crazier, because even with the condom, you got to ask this question sometimes. It's like, hey, you don't happen to have any. We should all be like, especially if you're not in a relationship. If you're not monogamous, you should be asking the question, hey, you don't happen to have any like, STDs or anything? Because that's
nobody really. Yes, yeah.
Not only should the men or the women be already bringing that up before someone even engages in that, and they never do.
But don't get upset if somebody asks.
If somebody asks, if anything, you should want to sleep with that person even more if they ask you that. Because that just goes to show how much they look after their health. That is a person that is prime and ready for someone to have sex with them. But I mean, the way we deal with education around sex is so poor in America.
It's so, I hate to always use this word for these kind of things, but it's so taboo to ask your partner, your an interested partner. No, I wasn't gonna say bitch. Ask someone you're interested if they have anything, or when the last time they got checked and shit like that,
And they should.
You only make it weird.
Don't have your experience of a Coca-Cola over the mic, Cianan.
Oh, you heard. I thought it was out.
All I hear is sounds like the Eminem skit. Oh, that's why they call you two-toe painted.
What? Oh, Eminem, not the actual Eminem candy brand.
Yeah, no, but like Joe was saying, like we're all saying, mature conversations around sex are so important.
It's just the thing I really would like to make a point about is that to not get offended and like, oh, how dare you ask me that question? Like you don't think I'm clean or something like that. It's like, I'm just making sure.
It's like, I don't know you. You don't know me.
Yeah, and it's so wild the way we're wrapped up in all that stuff.
I'm telling you, man, in my younger days,
Joe didn't give a fuck.
I really didn't fuck. I really didn't.
It's like it was the 60s or the 70s out here. The 70s was really the time when people were fucking. That was the thing that you did in the 70s, apparently.
Because there was no internet.
Yeah.
If there was internet in the 70s,
dude, I mean, all the people who aren't getting laid should just gather together their forces and break the internet so that people can be bored out of their fucking mind again.
I would totally like to do that so I can get laid. I'm trying to like hump homeless ladies that with needles in their arms and shit.
Homeless people.
I actually saw that happen.
Wait, a homeless person fucking?
No, like 2 days ago, I was grabbing tacos down the street at the truck.
Yeah, is that what you call it?
And there was like a lady. Oh, mijo, please.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any money? And I was like, no. She's like, well, fuck you, then. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I was like, oh,
come on.
And so then this other super old Latino dude pulls up in the truck.
Yeah.
And he's like having a conversation with her, but he's like his facial. I didn't really listen.
Like he wants to have
but
sex.
his facial expression was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. How much is the work to you?
And I'm like trying to get into my car with my fucking carne asada plate because I'm trying to cut down on carbs. And I'm like watching this go down, and I'm thinking to myself, that's fucking sick, man.
That's how you get diseases spread.
You know, and
that's not the only way, buddy.
I find it interesting that Patrice O'Neal, I was watching stand-up the other day, he said something about, right. He was like, you gotta look at the way that cheating works. We're going
that's right.
behind your back to not make you feel bad and find happiness so we can come home happy and treat you right. And I'm like, don't try to pull that.
The logic.
That was funny.
The logic behind that. It's so true.
Have you two ever paid for I'm not like Vegas or Amsterdam or?
You know what's funny is let's Joe. I'm sure you have stories.
It doesn't have to be
Vegas.
Why
do I have to have stories?
No, well, you guys have been to Vegas more than I have. Well, I've been to Vegas once.
We have, and there was one time where I was there where I could have did it, but did not because the person who described where to go,
I did not have sexual relations.
It was super creepy, and it was this old Indian guy telling us how he would go to these massage places and just have sex with these girls raw, like no lube, no that. You just go in and you just and it's like good to get in the morning because if you want in the afternoon, they've been with like multiple people by then, so you got to get in the morning and like. Oh, he's like, yeah, I just fucking really, really hard on us. I was like, damn, I felt really bad for the girls. Like, how
wait, what city was this in?
Vegas.
Okay,
yeah,
that's gross.
And I was like, it was just like, it was. I couldn't. Man. It made me want to be like Captain Save-A-Ho and go to these places and like, you don't have to be here.
He wants to light the curtains on fire
until they ask you to sit to lay down.
It's like, okay, one minute.
Okay, hold on.
Like, get out now.
One quickie.
Your master's the devil, like Brad Pitt in fucking Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, the last one that leaves has to give me one. Yeah,
dude. No, I've never paid for it per se. There was a time I went to Vegas, the only time my buddy took me out there for my first time. It was like his brother's bachelor party. And I really don't fit in Vegas. Like you guys already know, I don't drink. I don't do a goddamn thing that you would be doing in Vegas.
Well, there's shows. I like looking at the architecture. And
there was nothing. I was so bored out of my mind that I took a walk to see if I could. You can't really walk in Vegas. And there's a shitload of people.
And there's a ton of homeless people.
They're all drunk and they all want to fight each other.
Yeah.
And so whatever, I like finally stumble back to the hotel room and I just take a nap on the couch, right? Like I just slept through my Vegas experience. When I'm like, I come to because there's like a knocking on the door and I open it and it's my buddy and he's like, hey, yo, Phil, you want to get in on this? And he brings through this, this young lady who clearly is ready for the dollar bills. And he's like, here, grab her titty. And he grabs her titty and squeezes it and pulls it towards me. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, hold on, man, I'm waking up. And he's like, come on.
Lets it happen.
Yeah. And she's like, come on. And they're all stumbling and drunk. And he sits down and he's like, okay. And he starts negotiating right in front of me. He's like, okay, so now it's 2 for 1. I'll pay you only $50 more. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, well, okay, fine. And I'm like, damn, this shit is going down. And I was like, Paulie, I'll be honest with you, man, I'm good, man. I'm just gonna go see. You guys can.
Yeah, we'll blurp it out.
I was like,
said his name.
Ali.
That's okay. We'll edit.
You know what though? But he doesn't even listen to this anyways. And
it's like fuck him.
And nobody knows which of which. And I know many.
Yeah. True that. There's lots of that under the name. But continue. Yeah. So you didn't want to. So
I mean, it's probably the lamest move in history. But like, to be honest, I had zero interest in everything there.
Yeah. Well,
no gambling, no sex.
What about shows?
Very little alcohol
and music.
Honestly, it was my least favorite experience ever in my life was going to Vegas. And I maybe it's one of those things where like it depends on who you go with.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
but I did appreciate that he put me out there and he paid for everything. Like I didn't ask him for that. You know, he bought like steak. Yo, Vegas is expensive as shit.
Well, tell me about it, dude.
It used to be cheap as fuck where you can get like a steak for like $2 and shit with salmon, but
like you have to pay even to get into the clubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Depends.
I went to one at Bellagio.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah,
we don't have to pay it all.
We stayed at like the M hotel or the.
That's
like I don't know, but the whole place was crazy, man, and it was
wild.
Least favorite experience ever.
Okay.
Not that I don't appreciate that he did that. What I'm saying is, as an experience,
maybe it's because you were low key forced to go. You didn't really want to.
Yeah,
go,
if you chose to go there,
I think I would never choose to go. Like if you guys said right now,
let's go to Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas. I'd be like,
I doubt that.
Joe says, I doubt.
It sounds like a challenge.
No,
he's like, fight me in the game.
Dude, mushrooms, acid, Vegas. I have zero interest in any of those things.
You've done acid before?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't.
Oh, I thought about trying it just to see if I do trip out and like see weird shit happen and like have some weird alien talk to me and I freak out.
What was that Johnny Depp movie?
Tell you, man, this shit is crazy.
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing.
I've never had acid, but
as your legal counsel, I recommend that you take lots of drugs.
Lots of drugs.
I'm just curious. I'm curious. I want to see like one of these little foam things just pop out and then start talking to me like that. But I don't know if that actually. I think that's a movie thing.
It's a different. I don't think it's a real. It depends.
Thing.
It depends.
Like mushrooms.
It really depends. Yeah.
Does that?
It depends. It depends on where your imagination can take something.
Oh, okay.
But it's not as like
my imagination.
It's just weird. Like I mean, all the experiences that I've had are
with shrooms.
Yeah, they've been. How do I explain it? The very first time that I took shrooms, it was like I was young.
I was there for one of your shroom experiences.
Yeah, oh, really? You shroomed with them?
No. I was looking after.
It was a bad trip. Yeah, it was a bad trip. No,
really?
But I was pretty. I was having an existential crisis. Yeah.
Whoa.
It was crazy. But no, the very first time that I had shrooms, I was like 15.
God.
Yeah,
damn.
I must have been like 15. It was with my boy. He lives.
Yeah.
He lives somewhere else now. But yeah, we ditched school, went over to his crib. You know, and took some mushrooms. I was lit.
Yeah.
Like I imagined myself just on the moon fighting ninjas. It was crazy. but that was my imagination taking me there. Like as an adult,
playing Super Nintendo and shit.
As an adult, when I've taken now that
you're just getting high.
When I've taken mushrooms, it's a different type of high because
your body's
it's more reality based.
Because your third eye has closed.
Yeah, it's more reality based, you know, like for example, I could be playing this game and you know I could be playing Dragon Ball, what we have on the TV right now.
Right.
And the screen could be stuck right here, but I would see them move or look over at me and shit like that, you know?
Could you imagine?
Shit like that, yeah.
So sort of like that scene in
talks about your taxes.
Yeah, like in Friday where he gets high and then like what people think weed would do to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually what mushrooms did to you.
Oh, okay.
You know how people always make fun of weed, how it makes you hallucinate?
Yeah.
But everybody who's ever done weed knows that never fucking happens when you smoke weed. I've never hallucinated on weed. Have you?
No.
I didn't. I know, but I know when I get high off of weed, which is crazy. My legs start tingling and it feels like I'm using one of those exercise leg thingies so I can't I can't close it. So I'm trying to close my legs and I can't close it. This is when I was in the car with Fernando. Because I got high when we went to the improv. And then,
you were faded?
Yeah. And then my
head... I can kind of tell a little bit that you were
my head tingles, and then I was like... It was something in my body where I was like, I feel like I can't move. But
Damn.
it was like, yo.
I remember those a long time ago because after a certain point, those kind of highs don't happen.
Exactly. I just started doing weed, so I'm
right.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason you want to keep going.
And then when I'm in my 40s, I think I'll try some coke. In my 50s, I'll shoot some heroin.
I mean, you're already at the end of it, right? You're already at the tail end of it. So
in my 60s, I'll try some crack.
Just go all the way in.
Just be aware that those are addictive substances.
Yeah. Like, fuck heroin, fuck crack. No way.
All of them.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I'm very open about drugs, like I'm very I mean, like I'm
what's the conversation you're gonna have with your kids when they turn into teenagers?
I'm gonna smoke them out.
Like,
use responsibly.
Can you really say to them the whole like don't do it? Because a lot of parents walk around don't do drugs.
It depends on the child.
But then they were the ones that were the first ones to get drunk. And smoke,
that's my parents. My parents were 70s. They smoked. I even told you my dad grew weed at his college campus.
Nice.
Those are my parents. And then they didn't have to even tell me about how bad drugs were. Like I already knew.
You were part of the DARE program. That's why.
A little bit, but
no. But see, I don't think drugs are that bad if you're like using them
recreationally.
Recreationally,
so
correct.
It's like the Louis C.K. thing where he was like, I don't know if my daughter is doing drugs, so she's probably doing them right, because as long as you can integrate it into your life where people don't notice, you're doing it fine.
If they develop an interest. I didn't develop an interest to even drink alcohol till I was 23.
Right.
And that had nothing to do with my parents.
Or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think drugs are cool. If you want to do drugs, go ahead.
They're like a perfect solution to everything, aren't they?
So you would tell your son or your daughter, hey, I'm not around you 24/7, but if a situation like that comes up, I just want to make sure you're doing it responsibly.
I don't think I need to introduce them to it. I think it's a conversation that's to be had. Like
if it happens to come across,
if you saw some weed somewhere,
if it comes to light,
okay,
and you're like, oh shit, okay, well you're smoking weed, all right, well.
So
it's like, Daddy, that's your weed.
I'm not gonna fuck around. I'll tell them like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I smoked. So I'll tell them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let them know that it's not like, and I think at this point, weed isn't even really going to be a situation like that anymore.
So it's going to be a thing, kind of like, it's not like the birds and the bees conversation where it's something you eventually need to have.
No, I don't think you need to have a drug conversation. I think. Well, now this is just my style of parenting,
right?
I'm not saying that everybody needs to.
As long as something doesn't look like a problem, then it doesn't need to be addressed.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be addressed. If it's not an issue, if he's,
or awareness is okay.
Just it is, but I'm not gonna have a sit down and have that conversation like, okay, I know you're going into high school, so there are going to be a lot of drugs there.
Watch out for Joe.
It's going to be like Big Daddy. You're going to go hang out with his friends one day. You're going to be like, what's up, fellas?
Yeah.
What's up, you guys? I'm not going to rat you out. Smoke a little Chiba.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that dude. Like, I can't say Sonia won't be that.
Okay.
That parent, but I'm not going to be the dude. I'm the guy that's like, whatever.
That'd be crazy if your son meets a Cianan at his high school. It's crazy.
Right, because the thing is, nobody ever had that conversation with you ahead of time, right?
I can't say that
turned out.
Yeah. No, but my parents never had the conversation about drugs,
right?
Because it just didn't happen.
And my parents had it, but I wasn't even paying attention. It was so corny.
Oh, they sat you down and had to talk with you about it?
Yeah, but I mean,
do you remember anything about it?
No. Yeah. I don't know what kind of effect I was like. I was like, yeah, okay.
For you, it was more like, oh, here we go again. My parents are telling me something.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried a shitload of drugs. I've tried drugs, and the fact that my parents never once
paid for drugs.
It never once clicked.
You never once paid for drugs.
It never once. It never went. The fact that it never once clicked to them that I had done drugs ever.
Damn.
Is a telling sign that I'm like
good at it.
Yeah, that was cool. Like,
right. It's when people have to sit you down and have that conversation that you should reflect on your choices, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is, some people out there you're right. Any preemptive conversations hardly ever help anyone with anything, right?
But somehow they have that mentality, like, if I don't say anything, they're just gonna do everything.
Because then this is what happens. now you've piqued their interest.
Right. Gotta try it. Now
you
what
said,
about?
You don't want to do those drugs, kid.
Yada, yada, yada. You don't want these. What's his name?
Dewey Cox.
Dewey Cox.
Why? Does it hurt? No, it makes everything better. I think I want me some of them.
Exactly.
I saw John C. Reilly down the street here 2 days ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So 2 days ago, this is how my day went down.
Okay.
I get to my job. I was recording in Century City. I was to record with Cianan Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, and Amy Morin, who was a psychologist, best-selling author. And I get to Century City early. The mall is like empty, and like I got like 3 bags and I'm like all this gear, and I'm walking to the mall, and I'm like, yes, it's a Latino with a bunch of. That's how I'm feeling because there's somebody staring at me, like, and I'm like, yes, lady, yes, people like me can be in this city too. And when I look over, I'm like, huh. And it's not until we both cross paths on some anime shit where like we slice swords and who's left standing. Like that was the distance left. And I was like, wait a minute. And it was Jessica Alba. And I was like, oh shit. Nice. But like, and so I kept walking, and I get to the Amazon bookstore that I wanted to go to, and it's fucking shut down. I'm like, fuck. I'm early. I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm turning around and I'm like, shit. Now I'm turning around. She's going to think I'm like coming after her or whatever. But I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna walk through here, right? And so I walked past her, kind of give a quick glance. I'm like, yep, it was just a cop. I think she was checking me out or looking at me like I was crazy, Latino at a Century City mall.
Let's go for the latter.
Right. And so whatever. Then I get there, and then of course my jobs go well, Cianan Lee, Amy Marin. But then I come home later that night, and I'm like exhausted. I'm like, fuck, man. And as I'm pulling up here by the parking lot where we all come through, there's this like well-dressed dude with a fedora, but the hair bore strikingly. I was like, I know this signature hairstyle. There's just something about the face and the way it's framed with the hair. And I took a closer look. He had like another homie who was like far shorter, but also well-dressed. Like, they had like a 3-piece suits. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, let's do it. It's John C. Reilly. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit. And he was like walking like he was. You could picture the way he was walking. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing in this neighborhood? And it made me realize that this neighborhood's changing, man.
It is.
And he got into a nice ass like Bentley car. They pulled out. Yeah. And I'm like, what kind of day have I had?
You're like, God damn it, what am I doing with my life?
We're gonna have one of those days where we're all dressed up at a coffee shop. Then we just bounce in our Escalades and
all the people recognize us
and Rolls Royce and shit.
My friend's trying to sell me his Audi. It's a sick ass R.
Well, I mean, you are due for a new car, right?
Did you want a new car?
I do want a new car.
Yeah.
I want it, but then I also want a truck.
So and I was recommended to get a truck for myself, but it's like I like having seats for people to sit in when I travel and I take people places. Right.
Well, I get one of those extended crew cab ones.
Those are huge though, and they take up a lot of gas and all that stuff.
No,
yeah.
Well, the one I'm interested in is the Tacoma.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's pretty small.
Why do you want a truck specifically?
The multiple reasons.
Jobs.
My job. I mean, our shop in Nashville, we have a Tacoma, a new Tacoma.
And you drove it, and
that we use. Yeah, you know,
you fell in love.
There, and I fucking loved it.
You fell in love with a stripper, Joe.
Yeah,
a Tacoma stripper.
A Tacoma stripper. That's the stripper's name, Tacoma.
No, but I really enjoy it. I think it's spacious. It's spacious enough, you know, to
you can hide dead bodies back there.
I'll have to sit in it and see what it's like because I don't feel like it gives a good enough gas mileage, and that the truck bed is only like what 6 feet. It's 6
feet.
Because I work on projects that are 8 feet. Sometimes
nobody asked you about your project.
Yeah, but I'm not about to use. You know, I'm not going to be putting big ass. You know, I'm not going to be putting big ass shit in it. You know. I'll say like if I need to take a stick of truss somewhere, you know, I can just toss in the stick of truss even if it sticks out. You know?
That's true.
Yeah, like
that's true.
So
but you can also can't load. I know there's ones where you can open up the back and it gives you access to continue the truck bed. I'm not sure if that's the F-150s.
Would you get like a pay bump for also having that and being able to transfer it like that and shit?
No.
So it's just you wanting to do more work with your car.
Yes, because there are times when I need to take stuff.
And like it would just save and it would just save you so much hassle.
It's not like it's one thing stuffing into my Honda,
right?
You know, like because I do it, and I've taken a bunch of shit in my car before, and people are like, "What the fuck? How'd you do that?" I'm like, "I just know my car." They'd be like, "Oh no, it's not gonna fit in there." I'm like, "Trust me." So, but I'm tired of that. You know, I'm tired of it. I want to start like. I want to be able to take shit comfortably. Like, I don't want to have to put my seats down, arrange everything inside my car so that I can fit
Tetris. Yeah.
But what about parking though? Like trying to get spaces and all that.
It's a small truck. It's not as big.
So
as you think
basically, you've done all the math, and you think that getting a Tacoma truck would really make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's
Ford or Chevy. Chevy.
It's a Toyota.
Toyota. Okay.
I think it's gonna be a good look, but. My boy Paul.
Keenan, don't eat a chip on the fucking microphone.
I'm trying to get close so you can hear it.
Coca-Cola chips. You have respect for this podcast.
My boy Paul is trying to finance me, and he thinks I have a pretty good shot. But he said if I'm gonna get a truck, I should probably wait. What up, Polly? What it do? Holla.
See, there's another Polly right there. How do you know they're not the same guy?
Yeah.
Hey,
you're gonna go to CarMax?
No. I'll probably go to the Toyota dealer.
Oh. Buy a brand new.
Buy a brand new right off the.
All right.
Just have no respect for this podcast.
God damn it. Speaking of people not having respect for the podcast, I want to shout out a couple of people that I've been talking to, in the last couple of weeks. I know I've been putting a lot of feelers out there, just trying to chop it up with people. Yes, I said chop it up.
Chop it style. Chop style.
There's a really cool podcast that I've started listening to. It's called Chopping It Up with the Homies.
Oh,
yes, these 4 dudes, Swoley. I actually got in contact with Swoley. He's probably one of the main dudes off the podcast,
right?
And he's just super dope dude. Like, we're trading,
right?
We're just
going back and forth, being bros.
Just yeah. He listened to a couple episodes. He liked it. I've listened to the last 3 episodes that they've had, and it's a cool podcast because they talk a lot about pop culture and shit, and it's 4 of them. They've known each other forever.
How does it sound? Do they talk over each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's just conversation. Yeah, it's conversation like we would have.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
But they're cool dudes. So chopping it up with the homies. That's the dope podcast. If you guys want to listen to that,
I like to give a shout out to the Morning Cup of Joe. I listen and watch that.
You've been watching Joe's morning videos?
I like it. Morning Cup of Joe. I like it.
He drops that wisdom.
It makes me want to make one of my own. It's like, guys, can I do an afternoon thing?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Monday through Friday, guys.
Yeah.
I do like around on my commute to work. I do a little bump on my story.
Most excellent.
Called Morning Cup of Joe.
Yeah.
And I just talk about whatever is on my mind.
Talk dirty to me.
So check that out. But I also wanted to give another shout out to Seamus over at the Chewed Gum podcast. He does
Look at Joe just being social.
I know.
Hey man, I'm trying.
He's learning from me.
He runs a podcast. Well, he has a couple of podcasts. Like, this is another thing that's blown my mind. People run multiple podcasts.
You said Chewed Gum or Head Gum?
It's called Chewed Gum.
That sounds very
Seamus.
Because I'm saying I know the Head Gum company. I mean, I don't know them personally, but I've been there before.
Well, he has a network of other podcasts that he does, but one of them that I actually took a liking to is called Chewed Gum, and he just reviews like shows and movies that he's seen.
That's fucking dope.
And he just gives his perspective on it. He does a couple per episode, and he actually wants to have a conversation about Endgame. So I might be joining him on his
podcast. I mean, there are podcasts that review episodes of Lost.
Yeah.
And then just hypothesize.
There's a line out. Like, you said it. You said that there was like 5,000 per day.
Every day there are 5,000 new podcasts being uploaded.
That's what makes me really appreciate the podcasts that we have with all
and
those
that people are listening.
To be able to sort us out through all of that.
That's crazy. So.
Well, it also has a lot to do with the combined circles that we have and how much people have already believed in us since the beginning anyways.
And the stuff we say on the podcast.
So. Although this whole new experience, because I've been getting a lot of messages too, has taught me something about myself as like, I would be a bad celebrity.
Oh, really?
Like it sounds like Joe would make for a good celebrity.
Joe would be the Kevin Hart. He would be another Kevin Hart.
How is that?
Like, because like he's getting back to people and like
engaging your audience.
I try, but the truth is I'm so busy with all my shit that like I'll sit down and try to have a conversation, but I just.
So you're one of those mean celebrities. Like, I met Philip Lanos one day and he was an asshole.
No, I'm great in person. In fact, in person, it's I'm a little too nice. I'm the kind of dude that'll sit there and like listen to what you have to say. But while I'm not in person and I see your message and I'm like, all right, cool, I'll look at their profile and I'm like, oh, okay, looks interesting. If it's ever a girl and it's just them taking selfies, I'm like, okay, well, I can't comment on any of that. I don't know what to say. A great selfie, you know?
Well, see, that's the thing though. Like, I've found it really easy to engage with people just by, I don't even leave them comments. Like, I'll send them a DM that just says, "Yo, what's up? Just want to let you know, you know, I'm around here.
Joe's
just want to make sure, you know." I just tell them, I give them the real, like, yo, I followed you, like what you're doing, it's cool. If you ever want to chop it up, just hit me up. Like, it's really brief, it's really cool, and it lets you know who is really gonna fuck with you or not. Like, there are people who will just like the message, and I'll be like, all right, well, I don't need to have a conversation with them.
That's true.
But there are other people, and I've gotten
like on deep conversations,
yeah, that are really like, oh shit, you want to talk? Like, yeah, dude, what's up? Like, yeah, I'm here. What's up? What do you do?
You're
like,
a great
shit, man. Yeah,
you make for a great celebrity. I
had a conversation with some kid that
Cianan would likely be. You had a conversation with a kid?
Yeah, I had this conversation with this kid, like 2 days ago.
Like 16?
Yeah, like 16, 17, like in high school. I can't remember what his tag is.
Careful.
Don't need tag anyway. No, but it wasn't like that.
Don't pee on him.
No, but basically, he just hit me up. He's like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, you know,
hit you up in your DMs."
No, but he was like, "What's up? What do you do?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "It looks like you like dope stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty. You know, I like what I like."
Yeah, I'm cool, kid.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Hey, but you're like you believe in God, right?" And I'm like,
"Yeah."
I was like,
"Oh, he does.
What?"
He's a father figure.
Laughed. I just put ha ha ha, and he's like ha, and he's like, no, but really, like, you believe in God, right? I'm like, no, actually, I don't.
Oh, he's trying to convert you.
No, but then he's like, why don't you believe in God? You know, I believe in God. Yeah. I'm like, I was like, why don't I believe in God? Why do I have to believe in God?
Yeah,
and I gave him my whole rundown. Like, you know, what I usually say is like, you know,
as somebody who studied the Bible for years.
Yeah, I told him, he's like, so what made you not want to believe in God? I was like, well, to tell you the truth, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness till I was like 15 years old. So it's not that I don't know the Bible or the gospel or all that shit, but I was you know, I was raised in this thing that I really had no choice, or you know, it's all I knew. And to me, once I started getting older and I was able to explore other cultures, other religions, other everything, I noticed, well, shit, there's a lot more than just this one religion. And to me, in getting past all that, my creed is there's nothing that God can do for me that I can't do for myself. So anything that I can do, I don't need God for. So why do
Joe was like, anything you can do, I can do better. God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, God isn't going to do shit for me that I'm not able to do for myself.
He's going to get smitten.
And the thing is, most people would argue that he shouldn't, or she, or it shouldn't have to if you can do it for yourself.
Yeah, why would you need that extra? That means you're lazy. You don't want to do anything. He's going to take care of everything. And it's like, what? Get a job.
Do you believe in any like supernatural forces or like things that actually are like creating this world? Like, for example, hurricanes,
I mean, like lava, supernovas.
Like, there's clearly some intelligent design to it, but I don't think it goes against evolution. I mean, this is a different conversation. Go on, finish your story.
So, you know, I basically gave this kid this rundown, and I told him, look, yo, I'm an atheist, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna try to convert you or make you question who the fuck you are.
Respect
like he's doing.
No, because he didn't take it that far.
Oh, okay.
He didn't take that. He just asked me why I wasn't a believer.
Yeah.
So, and I just told him, look, kid, just get out there. I mean, you're young. Just go out, explore more, and who knows, you might come back with a stronger resolve. You might love God even that much more. But don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to what you believe in, because that's what you were raised in.
Don't take it at face value.
Don't take it at face value. And he was like, yo, he's like, fuck, all right. Well, he didn't say fuck, but he was like,
you tripped that kid out. Now his parents who are like taking him to church are like,
he was like, yo,
he's gonna show up at home with tattoos and nose piercings.
Yeah, he was like, man,
shut up, mom.
He was like, I thought you were gonna take offense or something like that. He's like, but man, you're cool as fuck. Well, he didn't say it like that, but he was like, you're cool, man.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, keep it up, man. We need more people like you. And I'm like, oh, nice. I'm just regular. I told him, I was like,
just regular old Joe.
Regular.
That's what I'm saying. But like, do you see like how like Joe took the time? Like, I've tried to.
You got to keep playing the field. It's like how I do in person.
And me, yeah, I like, I feel like I do better in person than I do over.
Well, so you're in my category now. You're with me because I connect person to person and inform them about our podcast and stuff like that. Like just the other day, I was picking up my tux for my brother's wedding that's happening next weekend, and I chatted it up with the people at the tuxedo spot.
Right, you're interacting like that.
Told them about the podcast. They wrote it down. They looked at it. I told them about some of the episodes that we talked about, some recommendations of episodes. I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to listen to it, stuff like that. And off I went. And so that, you never know. It's a
different style. It's a different style.
Same thing with Joe. You never know if they actually going to listen to the stuff, but I'm still engaging. They see my face. They see the humor and what we can provide. And that's the connection you make there. Whether or not I'll see them again, who knows? Same thing for Joe. They may not talk back to Joe again after
but
2-3 weeks, but you still
I'm
make
not
that
expecting
connection.
them to either.
Exactly.
At least we already took the step to just like actually
say what's up
instead of just a follow for a follow.
Same thing in the
right
that we did.
That's right.
With the girl. And so for you probably
that's true.
Me.
That's true.
Whoever you meet.
Yeah, I go to like GNC or whatever. I'm picking something up, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I have a pod. They're like, what? They're like, what's the name of the podcast? And then I tell them, and I
literally did the same thing. Just what you're talking about at a Waba Grill. Okay, it is the same Waba Grill that girl was working at. But
you went back.
I went back. Why? It's a good. I'm trying to eat healthy. So
here's the difference, though. I don't tell anybody about the podcast
in person.
Anyone that I speak to.
Oh, right.
Like
you're just engaging all the time.
Yeah.
I don't tell anyone about the podcast.
Okay. So Joe's
I don't
just
make
better
it a
than
priority.
Us.
No. I only because again, I want their interest in the podcast to be genuine,
right?
And not because I told them, hey, go listen to my podcast.
And you can't get that in person. You only have like a 5-second window,
right?
And you'll never see them again. So you kind of have to introduce that to them.
Well, because people hate to be sold,
right?
They love to
people
buy.
hate to,
But I asked first, do you listen to podcasts at all? And then it goes from there. If they don't, I don't put the podcast on there.
Okay.
Your style is different from my style.
Or I show them a picture of something
you say arigato
for the podcast and like what is NOOB? And I go,
that's what I was going to tell you.
What, pictures?
No.
Arigato.
She's like, how does this all relate?
Wait, we're lay back. Keep saying it so you can remember. Arigato, new podcast, pictures on my phone, showing it to people.
Keenan's making lyrics. This ain't Pictionary.
I'm trying to.
I remember.
Okay.
I wanted to commission a sign for NOOB.
Commission a sign.
Yeah. So you know how there's a collabo sign.
Oh, you want to?
He wants to make a new podcast.
How much is that going to run us?
Oh,
well, let's not put Keenan's business out there because he might give somebody else different prices.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Well,
we'll talk after.
I haven't been getting paid much for anything.
Fuck that. Anybody who owes Keenan money,
you know my opinion.
I know. And the thing is, I talked to Philly about this, and you might agree with this, but and my buddy Marcus is where I presented out to the world where I was saying, and he knows this, that people out there, everybody seems to want $1,000 worth of service and work, but only pay you $100 for it.
Of course.
And that's the kind of situation I'm in, where a lot of these projects that I do that look so good and badass is like, oh yeah, you should charge, $500 for that sign. It's like, well, they want the sign to look clean like that, but they're only really paying me like $100 or $200. It's like, well,
and that's one of the main reasons I sent you that link that I sent you yesterday, and I shared it with Joe too, but for different reasons. The book is right there. It's called Boss Life by Paul Downs, and this dude basically creates conference tables for any. He says the difference between my business and other businesses is people don't buy my shit because they feel like they need it because they're not sure if their business is gonna succeed without it. People only buy a conference table when they want a conference table, and so my interactions with people are different. But it's the way he also got started that I think you'll be able to appreciate. Okay. And the reason why I think you'll be able to appreciate it is because then he literally breaks down the numbers of his business and how it operates and like how he had to keep up with payroll and like it's just like usually you read a business book and they're like, here's what I suggest you do, right? This book,
he breaks it down.
He goes, shit, I didn't even know, like my business was about to close and this is exactly how much I had. And then goes like 2 weeks later, now I have $40,000 in the bank, but that'll only get me like 3 days forward. So he just keeps breaking it down. And as somebody that's been freelancing for a while now, man, the shit started hitting home hard, and the thing is, what I like about him, Paul Downs in this book, Boss Life, is that he really, really puts it out there where you don't feel like such a fucking failure anymore when you realize that all businesses are sitting there dealing with credit lines and wondering whether they should actually use their cash flow or their business credit to pay and get things done so they can have a positive balance in case some shit happens. And it's like being able to balance all that and it's like a totally different scenario if you're not living that life. And if you're doing it and you're living it alone and you don't talk about it with anyone, you feel different about it. And there's all this internalized stress. But then when you have these kinds of conversations, and I listened to he was on this thing called Small Business Podcast or something like that. And because I wanted to see what his personality was like.
Yeah.
And he was better spoken. He was well spoken to the degree that was better than the actual podcast hosts.
Oh,
and it's crazy because he never once wanted to be anything like that. But when his business was about to close, he decided to reach out to the New York Times and ask them if he could write an article based on that. And they never got back to him until his business was just about to come up again. And that's when hey, by the way, I just saw your email. I don't usually look at my emails because it's always junk, but what would this look like if you did it? And he wanted to release it anonymously, but then he realized, no, I want people to reach out to me. And the reason I bring this up is because what other things, because I know Joe, you're a big advocate of people talking before the actual suicides become a problem, and it's true. We all have issues. Keenan's always telling us about how he feels about what's going on with the strippers and whatever. Let's really look at what's happening here is we're able to feel comfortable communicating just everything in general. And in doing so, we're able to then get feedback loops that show us that, maybe it's not as uncommon. Maybe we're not alone and this kind of thing. And not just in business, but let's think about how many other areas of life people aren't talking about.
Which is an excellent segue, Filthy, because I did want to talk about stress this week.
Talk about it, Joe.
Fucking A. Okay. And when I talk about shit, guys, it's usually because something is happening to me too, or it's something that I've experienced or
it's personal.
I've come across. But yeah, stress as fuck. That's definitely something that doesn't get spoken about enough, or is taken lightly, because people will fuck around and be like, "Oh, I'm so stressed," but not really understanding
nobody follows up when you say that.
Yeah.
They're like,
nobody really follows up on that, and I think these last 2 weeks, as I've been working on a bunch of shit for work, and it made me realize and actually understand the severity
of the basic stress
of unattended to stress.
Personally, by the person or by the people around that person, or both.
Yeah. It definitely affects your personal relationships.
Honestly, dude, these last 2 weeks I've had an immense amount of stress to the point where I'll get home and I already have a headache.
Yeah.
Because I had been repressing it all day.
You have no internal space,
dude. To the point where I'll get home and I'm super tense,
claustrophobic, right?
It's crazy. It's affected my body to where I was. It's crazy, and I think I've developed more gray hairs because of it.
Shit.
And I have this tick. That when I get really nervous or I'm stressed,
you pull your facial hair out too.
I'll pull my facial hair.
I used to do that when I first started freelancing.
Yeah, dude.
And somebody called me out on it, and it was real. There's a name for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would pull out my even though it hurts, I would just be pulling out my facial hair.
Yeah, if you could notice,
patches.
That's how he trims his beard.
See my patch?
Oh shit.
Right. No, I see the patches.
Yeah. But it's an even patch. You grounds keep that with.
How he said grounds.
Because I do it.
That's not a racial joke, by the way.
No, but
You're saying Mexicans know how to keep the grounds.
No, but I've noticed. No, it's when I notice it, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm picking it a lot on this side. I'm gonna do more on this side.
Even it out.
And all consciously do it.
Right, we joke, but that's serious.
Dude. At first it was unconscious. I would just pull it and be like, oh shit.
Has anybody called you out on it recently?
No, but
you just noticed.
It's just something that I've noticed. It's really.
You're no longer going to take it for granted.
Exactly.
That's happening.
It's really taking a toll on me these last 2 weeks. And
some people masturbate to relieve stress.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can't say that that's helped.
It's like Wolf.
That much.
Sometimes
it's like Wolf of Wall Street.
Once
right?
you finish your nut, it's like, well, yeah, I think you're satisfied for a good hour, and then all of a sudden the stress comes. Like it doesn't phase
because it's not addressing the real stress.
Yeah. So I'm just
especially men culture. Like it doesn't allow for you to be like, dude, bro, man, name X, yo. Honestly, man, I don't even know if I can keep going right now. It's just too much. Like we're not collectively brought up to be able to share those kind of things.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's that toxic masculinity.
Unless you're drinking with people and then you kind of wind up.
That's when you're like, this is bad. I fucking love you, man.
But I noticed it when I'm at bars and clubs, the guy, and it's in my head, it's like, why is this dude talking to me? But I let them go through it because after a while, like, oh, something's going up. So I'll nod my head and keep the conversation going so they can let it out.
Have you been stressed lately?
Hell yeah. I even sent a message with like a tearful cry. It was an emoji saying I wasn't in the right place. People drink, which is what I did.
Right. People will turn to drinking or drugs, anything, any kind. And all to manage.
Yeah. I wanted to zap out.
It's like the Instagram filter of life. Are substances.
I think what has offered me some relief is obviously doing the podcast because I get to fucking chill.
Absolutely.
I get to chill and really, but I've been able to, like, say for example, Cianan and I went to the Hollywood Improv earlier this week. That was a huge stress relief for you. You have no idea. Because that day I was fucking having
Cianan's
a day.
dick just grew. Like the blood just rushed.
I got the biggest heart on right now.
So when you hit me, I was like, fuck, I could definitely use that.
Wow.
So I went home and I was like, yo, this is what's gonna happen, and then it was cool.
Really?
Yeah. So going out that night, because that day was stressful as fuck.
Cianan definitely feels great about that.
I had to deal with like fucking engineers and production companies and all this shit, like having to deal with
everything is an emergency.
Everything we needed. We need these fucking drawings stamped, and because the fucking city inspector is gonna go to the venue and wants to make sure that all this, and I'm like, fuck, all right. So now I gotta rely on our engineer to get the shit back to me on time, and if they don't, then I gotta call a client and be like, yo, he wasn't able to do it, but maybe tomorrow I could get it for you.
And they weren't having it.
And they're like, oh, Joe, you're really killing me here, man.
And they blame you for that. I hate that.
It's like, I mean, I get it because who else are they gonna blame?
But it's not like you're physically doing the engineering drawings. Like, hey, I have.
But it's also my responsibility. They've imparted that responsibility
to you.
Technically,
you agreed to.
The conversation he has to have is with his team.
To get this shit.
He needs to talk to his team and go, hey, and the team needs to equally be aware of what his responsibility has been, his commitment and their commitment, and it's like just a whole chain.
Because they may not care. I mean, or they might be stressed themselves.
Yeah, I think more it's because it's never really this I haven't been this stressed in a long time. Like I haven't had this type of stress in a minute. Yeah, and I think it's because I just undertook a lot of work. More than I've had, because
recently
it's for Coachella. This is all for Coachella.
What's the season?
I have like 5 different jobs at Coachella. And this is the first time that I've had this massive workload for this specific festival. And all the jobs are in different venues or different areas. Each one has its own team, and it's like I'm trying to get drawings and quotes for this person and drawings and quote for that person, and this person also needs some, and it's like
and with all your advocacy of like mental health these days, it probably all finally collected and you went, wait a minute, I'm stressed.
It fucking clicked like a motherfucker, like and this happened like 2 days ago. 2 days ago I was like, yo,
because the old you probably would have just turned the fuck up and not have the awareness of why am I going on a drinking binge, or why am I this time you were like, wait a minute.
I was like, damn,
pause.
Like, for real,
right?
For real.
Damn.
Like, I really had to take a step back and be like, yo, I think I'm fucking stressed.
Because you also have 2 kids.
It was anxiety,
Yeah.
The whole picking my beard is that's anxiety. It is stress.
Dude,
it's like you feel
have you ever pulled up in your car knowing you have to like now face people you love, or like people who have nothing to do with the stresses you have, but you're just not ready to. So
and you have
just
to put on that fake face.
Yeah. And like you sit there and you're like,
I'm gonna tell you, it's happened a couple of times when I'm in my garage, and then someone hit me up and like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just got here. I'm downstairs. I'll be up right now." And I would have already I was already downstairs like 15 minutes.
Because you just need a
in my
second.
car, just like
you just need a second.
Quiet.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is like I'll take advantage of the situation and I'll put on a show or something on my phone. And I'll watch an episode of something just by myself in my car.
You know what that is? Yeah. You know what that is? Because I've been experiencing it a lot lately, and I've been asking myself questions like, what really is the issue here? Especially as we progress in our careers and we take on more responsibilities, because that just seems to happen with time. We all just engage in more responsibilities. Imagine yourself as a magnet that paper clips attached to, and each one of those paper clips is someone who's depending on you for something.
Right.
But then who do you depend on? Right?
Not God, I'll tell you that.
Right. Like there is who do you turn to? And most leadership people who are the leaders in their circles or who are leading the way don't turn to anyone. And it's very similar to what I was talking about with the boss life thing, right? Business owners experience that, or just leaders in general. And that's why there's organizations like the one of my clients, like Entrepreneur Organization, for all the things they are. That's definitely one thing. And that's why, like, someone told me you have to redefine friendship. When a leader collectively works with other leaders, their friendship is different because they don't have the time to meet everyone is in you, all up in your shit. And you're like, dude, I just need peace and quiet. I don't want to see anyone because if I see someone, I'm going to attend to their needs. This is us being providers. This is us bringing solutions, because men tend to be solution oriented. And that's not that women can't be. I'm just saying men tend to be that way. Right? So we're constantly in this mode of service. The good ones are, right? There are dudes out there who give no fucks and like never care. And,
yeah, that's true.
Right? But like us, we tend to collectively hang out so much because we have the same values. We're solution and service oriented. And I do think that it's important, and I'm glad you brought it up. Beyond this podcast, again, that's why I brought up the workout on Saturday mornings. Nobody ever hit me up for that. That's why dudes get together and they play basketball. Like, I don't play sports.
So wait, are you down to play basketball? Because I'm down to play an active sport.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Gym shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I personally,
you don't want to do that.
I don't do sports, but I have the punching bags, and I've got the punching mitts, and I've got boxing gloves. Technically, we could also do that.
I'm down to do that. I'm down to train for boxing because it looks so cool, and I know you can.
It's a great workout.
A heavy workout. I just don't want to pay for it.
Dude, I'm a martial artist.
Oh, but I mean, like, I have to get my own gloves.
It's $16 for a pair of gloves from Amazon, man.
Well, think about it.
How much that's one dance. That's one dance, Keenan.
And they're gonna use the strip club rule.
The thing is, like, are you guys down? Because Joe's right. That's the reason why the podcast is such a relief too. It's because we don't have things to look forward to other than just this one day. And every day we should have one thing we're looking forward to.
Well,
it's hard. It's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah. But my reason for this podcast and the way I express myself is because there doesn't feel like there is. It's just, there's something about having a microphone and people that are willing to listen that automatically, at least for me,
right,
generates the feeling that I do want to say shit. I was telling this to the people at the tuxedo shop. For some reason, I just blurt out what all of my problems and troubles and shit on this podcast.
It's very
than I would out, and I don't
cathartic.
Yeah, I still don't. At least I try not to, unless they listen to this. But I don't tell people that I go out to strip clubs at all. I keep that super on the DL. Unless you really get to know me, then all the freak shit comes out, and you know the kind of guy I am. But I usually keep that secret. I don't tell people I drink or smoke.
Out,
I know it's on the
podcast.
It's on the internet. But Let's just say new people that I meet.
Right.
I don't right off the bat.
Yeah, Joe's addressed that before too. People think you're a professional until they get to know you, and then you whip your dick out.
Give a little opening and just jams his dick right in there.
BBC. Right. Okay.
Oh, man.
But we're all in agreement on this one topic, and that's that
friendship.
We clearly are dealing with stress in so many different ways.
Needs to be addressed. Again, another thing that needs to address, like I feel like super tense in my neck. Like there's so many symptoms that are like, no, it's crazy.
Just put my dick on.
Like,
no, you're right.
Crazy.
You're right.
Crazy that
you start to literally physically embody, and that creates illnesses.
Is your stress the same as Joe's, in the same style as Joe's stress? Because you can't have exactly the same stress, but a couple of days ago. So look, I'm gonna, like, it's the truth. I've sat in my car before and just been like, I don't want to see anyone. And, especially with like my current situation right now, I don't really have a lot of space, And so and then the thing is, everywhere I go, I get to know people, including any external offices I rent. So then those people will hang out with me, and they're going to want to hang out with me too. And I'm the kind of person, especially in person, like I said, where I make time for people. I listen to what people have to say. I listen to their problems. I offer solutions, right? But now when I want a moment alone, there's a book there called Games People Play. Okay. It's the purple book on the bottom row right there. Purple with the red stripe. Yeah. And part of that is called, they have a thing there where it's called social strokes, right? So let's say let's say you have a job lined up, and in that job, you're going to have to walk through the front door of that building, and there's a security guard there, and you don't know the security guard, but the first day you go, you say, hey, what's up, man? They go, hey, what's up? And then they see you the next day. So they go, hey, what's up, man? How are you? They go, I'm doing good. How you doing? That's 2 strokes, right? The next time you're like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, I'm back here. Yeah, no, I know. I'm here too. I'm here too. Friendly,
right? That's 3 strokes now. Let's say the 4th day you show up and you don't even sit. You're like, hey, man, and you just walk by. Hey, wait a minute. We were up to 3 strokes. Why are you giving me not even a half stroke this time?
Yeah.
It's games people play.
I give out at least 6 strokes in the first time. That's how I operate. That's how I can get into places for free.
So you get people to nut right off the bat.
right off the bat.
You're gonna know my name.
right on the face.
Bite,
right in the eyes.
Right. No, but
yeah.
So one of my problems is I give social strokes everywhere I go, to the point where I'm never alone. And when I want a moment alone, I never used to do that. I'm literally sitting in my car most of these days now because I just don't want to deal with anyone or anything. And worst of all, I'm not sure my goals are the same as they used to be. That's what I've sourced.
Because of your stress.
This is where I've sourced it. I've sourced it and I said, why am I stressed? It's because I no longer am doing things for reasons that I'm clear on.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's where the source of my stress is I don't know why I'm doing this. Why am I putting up with this?
Right.
And that's what I've sourced down my stress to. Is when I started this, I knew why I was doing it, but I've changed as a person. And as a consequence, my goals need to change because I need to revisit. But the thing is, I've been so busy that I haven't revisited that process. And especially as adults, how often do we really take the time to revisit our original intention and to measure whether or not we've made progress towards or away from our goals? See, no one can truly be happy without a goal. But our goals change as our lives change, as we evolve as people, as we grow in awareness. And I have it on good authority that each one of us here has been making so much progress in our lives that our reasons have certainly changed for why we do things, but we haven't revisited.
Yeah. That's for sure.
You've been booking events and everything, and through the process, you have changed.
Yeah.
And now your reasons need to be reevaluated. I imagine with you started this company, you've been working like a motherfucker, you've reached a certain point, but now your platform and your reasons have evolved. And I don't know if you sat back and really revisited your goals.
Oh yeah, I have a plan. I already
fully support that plan.
Yeah, I have a plan in motion. I mean, obviously, I know that there's a ceiling I'm gonna hit, and
Castellanos Duncan Inc. That's right. We're taking over a lot of sandals, baby.
No, but I'm not gonna speak on my plans.
No, right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like they said. Rome was so
wasn't built in a day.
not just that it wasn't built in a day, but it was so on the verge of collapse that just the uttering.
Oh yeah,
of Rome. You remember that,
dude? Yeah. If you know Roman history, my God, I like following up. I don't know as much as the scholar. I've seen as much as the scholar because I watch all these documentaries, I have the books, and I read up on stuff. But my memory catalog doesn't, hold it that well. But it's so interesting, and I love calling our country the American Empire because it literally is similar to the Roman Empire and a whole bunch of shit. And we take a lot of their stuff, the notes on our bills and things like that, or architecture and whatnot. But it's trippy, that whole timeline period of what they did and how they did it.
Their accomplishments.
It's wild. I mean, and a lot of it was very, ruthless and rough and some crazy wild shit. I mean, not to discredit.
Same thing with the Aztec empires and every other empire that ever existed.
Pretty much, and the Egyptians too, and all that stuff. Right, but not to discredit a lot of the bad shit that happens in the world today. Bombings and shootings and all this other stuff. But I see that when people get shocked about things like that, I just see that as just the change of technology. We've been doing stuff like that since then, Greek and Roman stuff. I mean, Romans would take armies of people and just ransack and destroy villages, and that's how they grew. They didn't grow because people were like, hey, I want to be a part of the Roman society. No, they came over and killed you,
right?
And then raped your wife and then
from Spain down to Mexico.
They fucked everybody over. And it's just like, just because it was with swords and shields and stuff, people were like, that's ancient history. It's
we
like,
had bullets, and
those were humans. Those are our ancestors. We're doing the exact same thing.
We're their ancestors, right?
Yeah, if they had guns back in the Egyptian Roman Empire, they'd be doing the exact same thing we're doing.
If they had weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, nothing in the human history. And it's one thing that I haven't expressed too much to a lot of people is that when you say what's it called? Not natural, but human trait. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Something related to the experience of what humans do down to the core on a cellular level. And a lot of people think it's very nice and pleasant, stuff like that. But a lot of people forget that humans are some fucked up creatures. We're the most fucked up creatures on this planet. We kill for fun.
We're a virus.
I know. I know from the Matrix. Yeah. We do a lot of good things. Humans are awesome. People do, videos and stuff like that. We see
white people. Cool. Sorry, I needed to make sure. Yeah. I don't know if you guys took the time out to look at awesome people doing things, but a lot.
It's like Louis C.K. said, right? He's like, I really do think that white people are from a different planet because we're just not comfortable here. We need it to be just right, like not too cold, not too hot, just right. Like everything has to be broken down and then redesigned to fit us.
Yeah.
I will say that there's got to be something to perspective, though, right? Because
from whose side, like any perspective, or
just in general, a collective perspective. Yeah, most people would argue that there are definitely enough good people in the world to make life worth living.
Yeah.
Right, because if we are fatalistic, as our conversation was heading, and we really look at the world as like it's just filled with shitty people who do shitty things, and we live in a shit pile, and that's what it is. It can create apathy in us where we just like, so then what's the point?
Right, and what like for you two, what would you do? I mean, I guess because the question will eventually come to be like, well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? And like, if you two,
the man in the mirror,
if you two had, the ability to
ultimate
do
power,
and make change or have a shit ton of money, what would you do with that stuff?
That's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, you're right.
Like, would you?
Do you think money changes us? Right, we were talking about that right before.
I was actually asked in college by this black girl, because she was
why she got to be black?
Because she was from the hood, and my friends were putting me on blast in front of her, and I hate it when they do this in my community, but that's a whole big other story. But she was grilling me about what are you gonna do when you get a job and when you graduate college? Are you gonna go back and help out your community?
Right.
And I thought about that, and when I think about with money and change and helping the social structure, I would if I had the money. That would be a definite project. I would definitely do it in a way where, as much as I can, where white people wouldn't know what I'm doing, because the moment they find out shit's getting good in the hood, you're gonna take that shit over.
Like we were talking about with Melrose last time he was here.
You got to be super sneaky about it. If you really want, for me, my perception is if you want to make some real change, you got to be subversive. So, you know,
building underground cities and
shit. Or make a fake
super down low
fake newspaper that there was something that happened at a school but nothing really happened at a school. Is like just so they know that it's bad but it's not really bad, like our own little Wakanda. But I
put all the homeless people around the perimeter of it.
They would never go there. You'd be like, oh, that's a lot of homeless people.
Nothing but you go south of the 10 and there's nothing but homeless people. Goodness gracious. Not us, Judy.
My answer was, and this is going to sound like the worst, and I get in a lot of combative stuff amongst my own community, but I said I wouldn't, because my answer at the time, and it kind of fluxes, but there wasn't a lot of help or support from my own from the community towards me. And sadly, the bad joke was that the only thing that my community ever did for me was not shoot me and rob me. And that's
pretty big.
And we could have shot your ass.
Yeah,
we could have robbed you.
And my house did get broken into 3 times. Thankfully, we weren't there when it happened, but it happened within the first week. It happened within a couple of years after that, and then another 10 years after that. So, I've experienced some bad things in the neighborhood.
So why would you ever go back?
So and then why would somebody say, oh, now that you're big and famous and popular, you need now to help out the people that robbed you? Like, are you serious?
Right. Well, I think what they were getting at, and this is just my assumption, is would you be that change?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And my thing was, my change is
so
not
that kids don't have to live through that.
My support would be me not living up to the stereotype of what people think who we are in that neighborhood.
Right.
So the idea is to lose that image. The only way to lose that image is to not fit that stereotype. If I was going around, you know, saying whoop de whoop and all this shit and being super ghetto and the thing about being born in the hood and all that stuff, if I did all that, I'd just be another statistic. By showing them I can be better, I can be an engineer, I can go to college, I can be more than just what you see in movies and television. Hopefully kids or whoever see me will be like, I can be like that guy. I don't have to be
it's like
all hood.
The speech that Carlton gives when he was trying to join the black fraternity, and they were like, come on, man, look at you.
Exactly.
And he was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I don't speak like you do? Because I have a 4.0 grade average or whatever. And they were like, hey. And everybody was like clapping and shit. The studio audience clap.
Exactly. They want to support an Obama-like character, but they don't want an Obama-like character in their neighborhood because they aren't like us. And it's like, what do you mean we're not like you? Right. We are you. So
it's really tough, right?
Yeah.
Because
but if I had the money, I build businesses and stuff like that.
See, and I want to say that's who I would be if I got wealthy. That I'd be altruistic and that I would show up. Think of how many people out there have made that money and said that they were going to do that. And the minute they made the money,
all those football players, basketball players, you know, any of those athletes.
Well, look, even so, Dr. Dre opened up again a studio building in USC, a private institution that who knows how many actual kids from the hood will ever get to go there and use.
And the neighborhood around it is kind of shitty. Well, it was shitty. It's getting better now, but it's like,
so it's all good and dandy, but you didn't open that on 55th and Western.
Exactly. Yeah. Or in Compton where you're from or anything like that.
But do you know that he hasn't done anything else?
I don't.
If he did it secretly, like I plan to do with my riches, you would never know about it.
Yeah.
There's actually
you don't necessarily know that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
That he didn't open a school.
It is a possibility for both ways, though. Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Because I think he has.
Has he? In the hood? I don't know that. I don't know.
I know LeBron did something like that. LeBron. Yeah. I know Michael Jordan did not.
I'll say this much. To even take it to the next level in a different degree of the same thing we're talking about. I don't know of anything that any Latino people have done from Los Angeles. I mean, like Mark Anthony has done his own on the East Coast and this and that.
Maybe J-Lo?
But has anyone done anything out here for
the community? Yeah.
None. There's the National Hispanic Coalition, right? And then there's also another I forget what it's called, the National Alliance of, regardless.
Okay. There are organizations.
Right. But I've tried to reach out to them. They don't write back. They're nonprofits who only want money, but they don't. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll work together. But they're like, oh, you've got to become a member and pay $25 to even be a part of what we're doing.
I got a great, not great, but I got a story for you guys. I joined a nonprofit very temporarily, doing illiteracy for adults and help them learn this app on their phone. So I go to these libraries.
Oh, technology literacy.
Yeah, and help them through that. Mostly Spanish-speaking people that were in here, but one of them was on at a library on Western and 50 something. Shit, I forgot. It was on. It was nearby my house in the hood, and I go there to help these people learn how to read and get education from their phone for free. I'm dedicating my time. I'm getting paid shit money to do it to help them out. A few of now, unfortunately, they were all black, but I brought my iPad there. Very expensive item. I'm helping set up tables. Somebody was asking, one lady was asking me questions, and as I was answering her questions, her friend comes around and steals my iPad.
No.
And they have all this on the security camera footage at the library. And I had to file a police report, and thankfully I had insurance, so I didn't have to pay too much to get a new iPad. Sadly, Apple couldn't do shit to find this person. People said
to find my iPhone shit. And all
that? It wasn't. Yeah, there was no way to. So that's another thing. When I thought about this lady in college asking me that,
why should you help poor people when they're just going to rob you?
They just I literally was there to help my community.
Fucking poor
and
people.
They robbed me, and it's like, and then you get, and then the sad thing is, I get a lot of negative flack from black people who live in the hood. And, they hear my voice, they hear me talk, they see something totally different. And no matter what story I tell them, they're still like, fuck you anyway. And
even though you legit grew up in the hood, but just because you didn't choose that path.
Yeah. So I have my own reasons. They may not be fully justified, but
no, you're right.
I did help or attempt to help my community, and it totally was bullshit.
And see, that's why I'm saying, I don't know if I would be that different then, because if there really isn't any Hispanic, Latino, whatever characters out there from Los Angeles who are really putting on, I don't need heroes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that John was almost talking about in his last thing, Latin History for Morons.
I gotta watch that.
We don't have any heroes.
Yeah.
It's actually coming to LA in September.
Oh, we should go.
So we should go.
Yes. Yes.
Who, Joe, you were part of the Latin associations in college.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who really can we say are our heroes, and are they doing anything for us? No, nobody.
See, the thing though, I'm sure there are. But I'm not.
I was
really
Villa Regoza, Garcetti. I don't resonate with them.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you, Joe?
But why? Why don't we? Why don't we have that?
Technically, Melrose is something you looked up to.
Right. Well, see what we're talking about. There's no Latinos that are putting on in Los Angeles, and instead of complaining, what is that quote?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
what is that quote where they're like, somebody should do something about that, and then I realized I am somebody.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, if you have an issue,
I'm not that somebody. I'm not that dude.
I'm not that somebody.
Well, what about you, Joe?
I'm talking about nobody.
if you had
the power,
1
the
billion.
money.
Just 1 billion. Would you use part of that money to help?
Bitch.
Maybe. Well, you lived in Koreatown, but I was like, we're maybe somewhere we used to live back in the Latin.
Like community. When we lived in East LA.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't.
I don't have enough ties to. I mean, maybe K-Town, but K-Town doesn't need my help.
I know.
Latino culture has never done a damn thing.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah.
And should it be that way? Like, oh, they didn't do anything for me. I don't have to do it for them.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who are good people. I'm not a good person.
Oh shit! You heard it here first.
It's not to say no. I mean, it's not that I'm not a good person. I really don't. I don't think I care enough for a community that hasn't given me much.
And you shouldn't be chastised and ostracized for that opinion and thought,
for feeling that way.
Now, however, we do have many millionaires and billionaires who might actually think like Joe, and it's like, well, shit, they got billions and millions of dollars, and they have that mentality of not helping out the lesser financial income, which could actually benefit and change people to be a bit nicer and cleaner and respectful and help. It'll cause a ripple effect. It won't change anything now.
Right.
50 years, 100 years later, right. It might. But
I mean, I think that's part of the reason why gang culture is so prevalent in Latin culture, especially for men, is because those are the only places that people will show you love, where they'll actually give you money, or they'll start you with a little business.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the same thing goes for anyone in the hood on the other end, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, those are the only people that seem to be giving you these opportunities, quote unquote, right? Well, it's not like anyone's inviting us to be part of their Fortune 500 companies. Or,
no, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a great uncle who left me an inheritance for like any, you know what I mean? Like,
I think the sad thing is I got more support from the white community than I did from the own black community, which really is shitty, you know, and sad.
And that's because everybody who's trying to climb the same ladder doesn't want you to climb it before them. People want to see you doing good, just not better than them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard to take, you know, but it's like the truth. Even think of people, let's say you're in a band and all of a sudden somebody approaches you and they want to sign you, but they just don't have the vision that the rest of the band's going to do it. And you're going to be the guy that's like, no, I'm staying with my band. Right. Whereas your band should be like, no, dude, take this. When the contract is over, we can then use that new platform and see where we go from there. Right. But that's never what happens. They go, oh, you're going to leave us behind? After everything we did for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, nobody has that long-term vision. And again, that's altruistic, because it's true. If I got money and power, what would the first thing I'd do be?
Well, I mean, I would splurge mad crazy. I even have pictures of the things I'm going to purchase. Everybody check up a boat called WHY Yacht. It's called the Y Yacht. It's a great name, because it's like, why did you build this yacht? It's like, why not? It's great, but it's so luxurious that it's almost like a condominium on a boat. It's crazy.
Okay.
Very future.
Perfect.
What?
So you remember the first time you had your new car?
Yes.
And that feeling that you had? You were like, my own fucking brand new car.
Yeah, I can go to any strip club I want.
Right.
No.
So just think about anything you've ever purchased, and that feeling that you had. Is it still around today?
I do really appreciate my car. Oh, you mean when I purchased something new?
I have a 2018 Hyundai Elantra, and when I first had it, I was like, yeah. And now I'm like, fuck, I gotta find parking. Like, it's just a car now that I have.
No, for me, it's still the same, because when I get situations where I can drive and go somewhere and I don't have to wait, or maybe this situation's like when we're at the Improv, it's like, fuck, I wish I had my car.
So you could just leave.
Yeah. That I definitely appreciate my car.
But then you would have never made that connection.
I never would have made that connection to that lady, which I didn't get her Instagram
or connection.
It's all right.
But
you made connection with your quote unquote wife at the karaoke bar.
I did,
right?
but and this could be another topic, but I really think she's into Asians heavily, and I think that's why she's at that place. But
you say arigato like we say arigato.
Yeah, and she has a lot of a lot of Asian friends on her Instagram, and her with a lot of Asian dudes and stuff like that.
That's not to say that, love has no color.
No,
man.
that's true. That's totally true.
They said it's not right.
It's the same thing we were talking about before about preferences or sexual preferences. We had a conversation about that. About there are people out there who do have, girls want guys who are taller as sexual preference.
Right.
And there's situations where certain dudes or certain women only want, not only, but would like or prefer someone who is black or white or Asian or Hispanic or something like that,
Don't you have your own preferences?
I do myself, and I'm not going to ruin my chances for the ladies who listen to this podcast.
Wait, so you have your own preferences, but at this point you'll take anything that comes your way.
Much, yeah.
Is it for sex?
It is so bad.
Like a relationship?
Both. And that's the weird position that I'm at, is that I really do want sex, but a lot of times, even after I nut, just masturbating, it's like, yeah, I probably really don't. I probably just want somebody around me.
Like you're looking for company.
I contemplate my relationship after I'm just sitting there with jizz all over my nuts, thinking about, what do I really want in a lady?
But see, like, at least you're giving the time to that, of thinking about what you really want. Because the reason I brought up the whole thing about the car or any material purchase you've ever made is we're looking for these things to give us satisfaction for something that I think comes from really, somewhere else.
It's artificial.
I think it comes from somewhere else. I think we're after something else and hoping that this vehicle, not literally the vehicle, but this channel will literally give us that fulfillment that we're looking for.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're going with that one.
Sort of like, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Which is why a lot of people who get in those relationships, either wind up failing or they're unsatisfied or
unhappy. The people who are never single.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need, what you need is to not be in a relationship.
Yeah.
All right. The people who are always single, you need to be in.
Vice versa.
Anything that is going to cause growth.
Moderation for everything. I even think like maybe, somebody brought up where like marriage should be like a driver's license. You have to renew it after a certain amount of years because, after like 5 years, you're like, maybe I don't really want it.
Right. And that's the other thing is that people say, but you said forever.
Right.
Yeah. But the truth is, over time, you might change.
Right. And those people who say forever are like the ones that wind up cheating anyway.
Right. Right. Like, well, and then somebody might argue, but you work through it.
Yeah. It's like,
work through what?
Are you out of your
I'm
fucking
clearly
mind?
no longer happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not that there's a level of immaturity that I'm not willing to grow through and that I stay with. Like, nobody wants to do. When it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you know what? For some people are more complete alone.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But some people are better off alone. That's just the truth.
Some people are better off in a relationship. It's all a variance in human interaction, human traits. I don't know. Nothing's ever finite. Yet we try to make things finite in our minds.
And I don't mean alone as in like no one in your life.
Oh, yeah, you need friends.
But sometimes family. What people are looking for is more of a connection than actual relationship.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that come with a relationship. A lot. Like, think about the last relationship you were in and how many times you may have thought to yourself,
baby.
And how many times you may have thought to yourself, maybe I'm better off alone.
I did think that on several occasions. Even she herself would say a lot of times, right to my face, so I'm not so sure about this relationship. And I'm like, oh, really?
But see, like, to be able to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah. But a lot of times it's like when that happened and she said, I'm not unsure about the relationship, my instant reaction in my brain was like, well, then why the fuck are we doing this?
Absolutely.
Why are you trying to, why would you let that info out and then not back it up with some sort of substance? Why would you just tell me that? It's like, are you trying to get a reaction out of me or something like that? It's like, if you're unsure about the relationship, then why would you stay and prolong something you're unsure about?
Are those thoughts better kept to the self or actually vocalized though?
For me,
like, if you don't want me anymore, just keep it to yourself.
But it has to be back. Like I said, it has to be backed up with some substance. So if she said, I'm unsure about the relationship, right after that, it's like, well, I want to stay around and see how things work out or how we move.
Or how do you feel about this? Right.
Yeah. Or
but not just say it.
Not just put it out there and then hope I have the right answer to comply.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I stepped away at some work shit.
That's okay. Me and Philly know how to do fillers. We did a whole episode out you, baby.
You bitch ass.
Yeah, we don't really need you.
It'll never happen. Actually, it's probably going to happen again in a couple of weeks because the whole Coachella thing is starting.
That's right. A couple of weeks. Maybe we should try and get down there and do a podcast at Coachella.
Coachella?
Yo.
Coachella podcast because you have that.
I do, guys. I have a crib.
I'm down to do that.
Put me in.
Yeah.
Like, so if you guys wanted, we could do.
Yeah.
It sounds like we will be doing an episode on.
I'm the guy that's like, how much are tickets to Coachella? Because
no, we're not getting in.
It's not about going into.
Right.
It's the outside. That's. But it covers one of our thing where we can say, hey, we just did it. I always want to do it. People who's listening to podcasts, go out there and vote.
That's what you're saying.
Not just the live. The live show, not the on location show. Well, it covers both. People out there who's listening to podcasts, chime in and vote and let us know if you want us to do, or you're super excited about doing a live show and or a recorded show at a different location where we're outside or we're at a special event. We don't have to have an audience, or it could just be a collection of people who listen. But I really would like us to do something like that. We go out there, we travel, we say, road trip thingy or whatever. I don't know. It's an idea. We don't have to put it while we're listening, but right.
So we were talking
people fucking.
No, I mean, we're just exploring values here. You know, we're exploring whether or not we're chasing happiness through purchasing things, because there's a lot of people who become famous. They have all their dreams realized and then they still commit suicide.
Yeah. Don't like their life. They're super sad. And then people like us are like, what are you doing? You had so much money. You had all this stuff.
You had everything anyone wants.
It's the perspective.
So it's like, and again, this comes back to the whole stress and that we've been feeling if we're like sitting there and we just don't want to deal with people, that whole thing. So there's a deeper issue at hand here
with stress
that we're just like chasing luxurious things, right?
Are you saying we have to, like, we don't have to chase luxurious things, but somehow we always do, right?
Right. So for example, there's a lot of times that I've taken on jobs with clients, even though I personally don't like hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Simply because I need the money. And while there are times to make those compromises, I do think that there's something to be said for someone who's pretty adamant about what's their values and what their principles are, and whether or not they're willing to sacrifice those just because of money.
Like prostitution, right?
That's another avenue where that goes down. And for some people, it goes hand in hand with their values.
Right.
What is the body? And why does that have to be so
sacred?
Hyper sanctified.
Right.
Sanctified.
Yeah.
Sanctified will always be an R&B term to me.
Do you feel like at one point in life, or ever thought, just a thought, did you ever think at some point that maybe I could try this where somebody would pay me for sex?
Like, have I ever thought about being a male gigolo?
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a gigolo, but like maybe you met somebody at a bar or something like that, and you go home with her and it's a really older chick or something like that, and then all of a sudden she just gave you money, and like, would you take it or be offended by it? Like, hey, maybe I can try it.
I actively had a mission with one of my buddies. We would go to Beverly Hills, suited up, and we would just sit at bars and see if we could meet older women. There was a time and place. Keenan's like, where was my invite?
Keenan would be totally down for that shit.
It's one of those things that, like, I even had a whole backstory. We were gonna get a fake ID. I was from Chicago. I went to Harvard. Like, there was a whole thing.
Oh, damn.
We had prepped for it. We scouted the areas. We were going to be at the, I think it was called the Montage in Beverly Hills. There was plenty of...
I wanted to try a cougar bar.
I bought a book that taught me about class and how, like, if you look closely, people who don't wear socks when they wear loafers, those tend to be people who are, like, upper middle class.
Really?
But the people who really have a shitload of money, like family money, like the X class, the people who, they're the ones who drive the minivans that have holes in their moccasins, and like they're like, those are the people who really, really don't care. But the ones who send you invites, like, we cordially invite you to the boo boo. That's people trying to rise and have. Those are people who live in Beverly Hills.
That's new money right there.
Right. Yeah. As opposed to people who live like in Tarzana or the Valley, and they have a big ass house and they don't give a fuck.
Would you still live in a low income neighborhood if you were super rich, or would you get a big ass mansion somewhere?
I'm getting a big ass fucking crib
right on the hill.
No,
overlooking all your kingdom.
I already have the locations that I probably live in.
Oh, you did?
Nice. Cheviot Hills.
Oh, that's a good spot.
Cheviot Hills, like Westwood.
Yeah, like Westwood area, Cheviot Hills.
Rancho Park.
I like that neighborhood.
Yeah. Cheviot Hills would be sick. Actually,
that's by the golf course.
Yeah. Yes.
Fox.
Like Beverly Glen and shit. Yeah.
Fox. We'll get in after this. After I give my thing.
Yeah.
So Cheviot Hills would probably be one of the spots I live in. Actually, over here in shit. It's right here by Koreatown. It's like
Larchmont Park,
right on the other side of Western,
around
right?
Larchmont. Around Larchmont.
Those are some nice houses.
They got some nice ass cribs over there.
By Port Hood.
Even in some areas, like over by like West Adams.
I think you're gonna say Westchester, because Westchester has some where La Jolla Marymount is.
I wouldn't live that far south.
Oh.
I'm an LA body.
That's LA.
Yeah, but it's too far south.
Like on 80th, like on 80th.
Yeah, that's
by the Fox Hills Mall.
Yeah. Well,
like living by the airport and shit, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, it's by the airport, but I mean. Okay, whatever.
Like even Culver City's fucking far for me. It's like,
oh really? Whoa.
If I had money and I lived anywhere, I would just live in Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Hell yeah, straight up. There's no better place
I thought
you
we were
could
talking
be.
about LA.
I thought,
okay, anywhere.
Oh, okay.
There's no better place you could be if you have money than Manhattan.
Well, what's
it's
the
just
reason?
a fact.
What's the reason why?
If you've ever been there,
with money,
it's hard to explain unless you've gone to Manhattan and had a couple nights out where you could just jump on a train, get down a couple blocks, hit 8 bars, go grab a slice, grab some food, hit some more bar. Like, you're free, and it's a city and it's alive. Granted,
yeah.
And if you have the money, you can always just go up to like Scarsdale and have like a summer home over there.
The Hamptons.
It's really nice over there. There's just so many things out there. And you don't need to worry about like car insurance, parking.
Wow.
Granted, it's a little dirty, but you learn to love that. If you don't have to worry about money, New York is really a place for money.
Okay. Oh.
That's just the fact, man.
I love LA too much.
He does.
You would never move to New York.
No, it's not to say that I wouldn't move anywhere else, but I think I'd always come back to LA.
Well, yeah, you want to have your summer home or your winter home actually in LA.
Yeah.
Okay, if I had to live in LA anywhere, I would never live in Venice. That's for sure. That place, like, there's just so many homeless people.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't live in the marina. It's just too far from everything. I think I would live in Pasadena.
Pasadena, okay.
Absolutely.
That's a good spot. Old Town Pasadena.
Like that whole area, dude. There's so much shit to do.
Yeah. It's blowing up with
Granted, you can't go to the beach, but it's a nice you don't need to.
You don't need to. No, there's I don't live nearby the beach, and I like my neighborhood. Tarzana's pretty awesome.
Would you live in the valley if you had money? Like some of those like really, really wealthy
I would live
houses
on a hill. I love scenery. I love seeing the
Hollywood Hills?
cityscope. Yeah.
Would you live in the Hollywood Hills? You would live in the Hollywood Hills?
But it would suck because I hate driving up hills all the damn time.
Oh yeah.
So
that's always whack, dude.
If there's a spot east of Sun Valley that has this little hill.
Where's Sun Valley? Is that in the San Fernando Valley area?
It's northwest of Burbank.
So
when you take the 5 freeway and you keep going up past Burbank, it's like the next major city over.
Right.
And there's a big hill over there that looks like it's not too.
It's almost like Sherman Oaks, huh?
Kind of like that. Yeah. And Sherman Oaks is a nice place to live.
Sherman Oaks. I remember when I first started going to Sherman Oaks to hang out at the Crave Cafe a lot.
Yeah.
Back when I lived in the valley, I would go to Sherman Oaks just because Crave Cafe was open 24 hours.
That's true.
And I remember going to the neighborhood going, wow, you could really just walk through this neighborhood.
Medici's down there. Yeah.
Any neighborhood you could just walk in and enjoy. It's good.
You should come by my place. My place kind of does have that. It's so funny because there's a split. The 101 freeway, on my side, it's the hood area. On the other side, it's the rich white people area. And they have like Vaughn's, Whole Foods, several bars.
Anywhere you see a Whole Foods.
Isn't it amazing what a freeway can do?
I know.
It's a legit barrier.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
It's like that movie In Time, the one that Justin Timberlake was in, and Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
Like where they had to, in order to cross through the next section, which would be basically over the next freeway, you had to take time away from your wrist just to get into that part. And then you had to pay it on the way back out.
Yeah.
That movie, like as a concept, was crazy. Maybe the acting was a little shitty, but as a concept.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies and shit.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Disney Fox merger.
Yes, that happened.
How do y'all feel about that?
I kind of heard about it, but I don't have an opinion.
We all knew
it
was going to happen. It was already.
I mean, that's a big fucking deal, though, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Like, what are the implications?
It's huge. Was it $10 billion?
Well,
how much was it?
It was $71 billion.
God damn.
I mean, nobody complained when Amazon bought Whole Foods.
Oh, they bought Whole Foods. I didn't even know that. That's some rich. That's some rich right there. Yeah, I mean, but wow. Because once they got Star Wars, I knew it was over.
I'll tell you some of the franchises that they got.
You got Deadpool.
These are some of the movie franchises they got. So they got the Avatar franchise.
Oh, and Avatar 2 is going to come out?
Wait, so Disney bought Fox?
Yeah. Disney bought Fox.
It's not the other way around. No. Yeah. So damn.
So they've already shut down some studios too.
Really? I wonder how long they were planning for that shit. That merger.
They'll probably get rid of. They got rid of Fox 2000.
That whole studio in Century City, that down there.
Yeah.
That Fox studio.
They're closing because that studio has a bunch of stuff. Yeah. In it, but they're closing some of those things. They've
Fox
already
Searchlight. Did they close that one too?
No, I don't think they've done Searchlight yet. But see, okay, so here's some of the.
Aren't AT&T and like Comcast also trying to merge?
Comcast owns Universal Studios.
So they have Avatar. They have the original Star Wars now.
Yep.
Which completes everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. They have.
Face on.
They have Die Hard.
Oh,
they have the Die Hard series. They got the X-Men back.
X-Men, Predator.
They got the Fantastic Four back. Yeah. They got Kingsman, which is sick. I love Kingsman. They have the Planet of the Apes franchise now.
Right. They got Terminator franchise too, right?
They have Alien. They have Predator. Yep. They have Independence Day. They have Fight Club. They have Home Alone. They have the Night at the Museum a series. They have Maze Runner series. They have Ice Age. They have,
that's right. Those cartoons.
I guess the only question is,
Martian, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Are these shows still going to be dope?
Well, like the Simpsons, I think they're going to keep the Simpsons.
The Simpsons are going to keep them.
Yeah, Simpsons is too much of a cash cow for them to get rid of.
Yeah,
but they'll fucking axe all that shit. I wonder if they'll see. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they'll do something with Fox News. They can't.
That's the only thing that was separate.
Oh, Disney's like, we don't want that shit.
No, it's owned separately. It's its own entity. Yeah,
but it just used the Fox name.
Yeah,
but now that Disney owns Fox News, they have to change
Fox News. It's its own entity away from Fox Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think legally it has to be. So they might even be owners, but it's kind of like where Unilever owns both Dove and Axe, even though Dove is pro women and Axe is like pro masculinity, where it downgrades women. You could be a babe and like my whatever. Like, so sometimes legally you have to set up your companies. There's probably really only like 4 or 5 actual corporations that own all of this shit.
There is. It's only, I think it's like 7. 7 corporations own pretty much all media type stuff.
That's what that whole Mr. Robot show was really about, is that there's even Bank of America and Wells Fargo, like they're all the same shit.
Yeah.
FDIC approved or whatever, the protected, like they're all owned by like 1 or 2 other actual banks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not the World Bank, but the one bank that's in Europe, right?
Right. And I mean, so all these antitrust laws, they're there for the public to feel like there isn't someone really running shit, but that's never stopped wealthy people from developing new legal systems to actually just own everything.
Keenan has like 3 different drinks that he's drinking from. Like,
you know he's gonna get the shit. Right?
I know he is.
I know.
Root beer, Coca-Cola, and yerba mate.
And I was talking about explosive diarrhea this beginning of the podcast.
Damn.
That's all I'll be saying.
Hey, you know what I have noticed though, as I'm hitting the age of 30 and things like that, like I've noticed that I can't eat foods the same way without it like affecting me anymore. And I haven't really been eating greens for a while now.
You should, Filthy.
And like vegetables really are important.
Very.
I brought you some oranges, so I brought them. They're in my bag.
Joe, how do you feel about the Disney Fox merger?
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think
don't think they're gonna fuck shit up.
I don't think it matters. I think
because they already got rid of
what
Firefly.
Are they gonna fuck up? Like the Fox has already been. It hasn't been like the. It hasn't been
a content creator
in forever. Oh, another thing that they have. Now they have the majority stake in Hulu.
Because Fox owns Hulu?
Disney now owns the majority stake in Hulu.
I think there was something I heard on, like, if you sign up for Spotify, you actually get Hulu as part of the plan.
Really?
Yeah.
And I didn't know
they
that.
own Spotify too? Or Hulu owns Spotify?
I don't know.
I mean, dude, Spotify purchased Anchor, and they purchased something else too. I'm trying to remember what. I think they purchased.
Fuck iTunes.
I know. Fuck iTunes.
So I've been sending a couple of emails, and it turns out something is wrong with our author tag or something, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
It can't be our content. There's no way. No,
it's not our content, but there's something about like. So what I used to do with a lot of other clients' work was I would set up what's called ID3 tags. You know, when you go into iTunes and you check the info and it has all that. Our ID3 tags might be messed up, and the titles on the actual, because it's if you go on Anchor, you'll see it shows the file name instead of the name that we typed in.
Right.
So Anchor has 2 displays. If you listen to a podcast episode on Anchor, it'll say the name of the title, but then when you press play, it'll show the file name. So if I named it Keenan Licks Balls or Philip Licks Balls or Joe Licks Balls, whatever, it'll stream across.
We lick balls.
We lick balls.mp3.
Okay.
And that's what I think they're referring to. Is they're going, that's test content.
Oh, okay. So what?
So I have to fix that, but now that means I might have to replace the episodes, and like it's a long story. But I don't think iTunes is purposely keeping us off.
Fuck them.
Can we at least
fuck them for being so complicated? Sorry.
That's okay. Can we at least maybe attempt to actually verbally speak as a unit or a group to one of these people with our system set up? So they
iTunes doesn't provide any in person.
No, it's not even an Apple Store, or
no. But I've gotten through them through email, and it's all they're just copying and pasting emails.
That's so weird.
It's because podcasting doesn't make any money though. That's what I'm saying. Like They don't charge us to be on the platform. So they don't need
somebody running it.
Yeah, exactly.
So why have that platform if you're not going to maintain it? That's really why put that.
They don't care. They just want to be part of it as well. That's why. They make it. That's why they make it so accessible for you to just be able to toss some bullshit on there. And
because Google was one of the original. They had something called. They had something called like Fireburner, Burncast, something like that.
They did have their own little podcast. I remember that. Yeah.
And I originally, when I first started providing podcast services to people, I would have to go through there to host the podcast. And over time, I looked it up, and they said that that's going to be deprecated and it's no longer really going to be involved. And it has a lot to do with the fact that nobody charges for podcasts, and nobody ever intends to.
What about the Patreon things?
Patreon.
That came out of nowhere. I was seeing that on the YouTube.
It's been around for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm old as fuck.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an actual following, like
nobody loves me.
Like technically we could say, hey, if you guys are interested, we've got about 60, 70 actual committed fans, right? Hey, if you guys wanted to and you all donated $1 every month, we would have $70 of funds that we could use to go pay for a guest to come on or whatever. And then eventually, let's say we got 1,000, right? So then we'd have $1,000, $1 from each of 1,000 listeners a month that we could then use to fund any kind of special guests. Like, what if somebody were like, I would love to hear the Noob guys with like Joe Rogan, or we'd invite another guest and we could use the funds from that. That's the beauty of Patreon. You yourself as an artist, let's say you're a musician or anything.
Or we do hot ones.
Right, or hot. Yeah, we would.
Sean Evans, if you're out there listening to this, I know your first intro line like by heart. It's wild and crazy. So it'd be great if we're on your show.
Look at Cianan just sucking someone else's dick.
I stroked. I told you I stroked like 8 times. I tried to nut them.
Okay, if you could have a dream guest on the show or be a guest on a show, what would it be?
Bill Burr, easily, hands down. But as a guest, it'd be awesome to do Dave Chappelle. I would like to talk with Dave Chappelle. But on there, but with both of those answers,
so you would want to be on Bill Burr's podcast, but have Dave Chappelle as a guest on this show.
But I also really would think Bill Burr as a guest would be fucking awesome too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
I'd love to be on the Joe Budden podcast, even though I have Joe nothing.
Budden. Yeah.
There would be no reason for me to be on there because it's just we're very different. And as a guest, I'd love to have John Leguizamo as a guest.
Oh yeah.
That actually
I think he has a lot of.
I think we can do that.
I think he has a lot to talk about, a lot to express. Like he has a rich history of just like him.
Leguizamo.
You know, just his history in movies and TV, like everything he's done.
To be as critically acclaimed yet as underrated as he is.
Well, yeah, but he's also very outspoken. He's very active in not just politics, but just the culture in general. Like injustices and shit.
Right. Like if we had any role model in Latin culture, it would have to be him.
Oh, for
sure.
Have
we had a Latin person come on our podcast?
Yeah.
Did we?
LR was a guest. He was.
Yeah, we're not really a friend of the Latino community.
You know what's crazy?
All our friends are black.
Holy shit! We've only had one Latin person on this.
Is that Rachel?
Oh yeah, Rachel.
And the next guest, she's actually from Nepal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nepalese?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Really? Yeah.
Gotcha. Joe's looking at our guest list right now too. We need to diversify our portfolio.
I
thought we were diverse enough, but goddamn.
Yeah, until somebody asked the question, until the white guy asked the question, then you
Cianan,
really know.
Yeah, if nobody saw you, they would just consider.
Actually,
you.
nobody white has been on this show.
Well, it's also we've been pretty savage about it.
I know.
I know we have been pretty savage.
Yeah.
Next week, guys, we have oh Sheila. Oh Sheila.
Oh jeez. I wonder how many jokes she's been getting for that name. Probably a lot.
Sheila's gonna come through with Thomas, our longtime friend.
Hopefully Thomas or Tony or Tomas is totally down.
Dude, I met him as Thomas. That's how he introduced himself to me.
If you hear that, Thomas says. But
the day I met him, I was picking up some supplies from the same wholesaler that I turned over, And there was this dude, he was real charming, being outspoken and like talking to all the girls. And I was like, what's up, man? He's like, what's up, man? And we started talking. I was like, oh, what? Yeah. He was like, no doubt. He was like, oh, I'm Thomas. I was like, oh, nice to meet you, man, Phil. He was like, oh, all right, cool. I'll see you around then, Felipe. You know, and that was just it. You know, I've never once known him to go by any other name.
Facts.
So I'm putting him on blast right now.
But I didn't know he was Puerto Rican either.
I didn't know
like
that
half
either.
Puerto Rican. I was like, what?
But I knew he was a some Afro-Latino kind of thing.
So but there's a strong possibility that maybe your sis will come.
Oh, that's right. We were planning to have
yeah, they're trying to
and that's still
trying to come.
That's actually doable.
It's gonna be.
What do you mean, Cianan?
That the person that we were originally gonna have can't make it. So
technically,
what do you mean?
We could have,
because you want to have Marcus on.
Right,
and his date was scheduled for the same date.
Right. He's a DJ, so sometimes the gig comes through, and you know, always take the money.
Yeah. Oh, so he's not going to be able.
Yeah,
to
so we can put Melissa.
So we can bring on Danny and Melissa to come through.
Yeah, I got to see because I think Melissa she has to go to New York.
I was gonna say, how long is she in town for? Because she's coming to the show at the Canby April 6th, Saturday in Reseda.
Oh, this dude plugging
you are
in
good.
The fucking
you are good,
show.
Fuck.
He just plugged our
What's that
show.
address again? What was it?
I actually don't know the address.
1000 Reseda Boulevard,
something like that.
We got to see. But
I'll talk to you later because there some things went down, and we'll talk about that after the show.
Oh yeah. Some things happen at the venue that need to be addressed.
Stress and me
freaking
out and drinking and all that stuff.
But
you can't just say that on the podcast and leave everybody wondering.
So next week,
I know you'll find out.
We have Sheila, and then on the 14th, we were gonna have Marcus, but I guess we're not having.
Yeah, I don't think Marcus is available. Let me recheck again, because he's super excited. We are starting to get a lot of people who are like, I really want to do it. They may not be as energetic, like I'm freeing my whole schedule.
They can always call in though, like Joe said, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say like it's been my dream to be on the podcast.
But like, see, they're afraid, like, oh, can I really come on? Is that true? You know,
see, the other thing that gets me is like people just want to be in a podcast, like, and they don't. Sometimes they don't genuinely. They don't even know what the fuck we do. You know, it's just somebody trying to. Because I've gotten hit up so many times, like on Instagram. Yo, let me be on the podcast. Oh, I want to be on the podcast. All right, what episode are you on? Like, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna listen to it.
So what if somebody is a super fan? They know they've listened to every episode. In fact,
Sean.
They may have even found that we actually have some errors, like on episode 8, that we need to address. Sean that I keep forgetting about. No, and they want to be on the podcast.
That's true.
But they know everything about our podcast.
Yeah, then I have no issue with putting somebody on. They just have to be. They have to vibe with us, but they also have to know what the fuck we're about. Don't just try to get on this podcast because it's a podcast and you see that it's doing okay. Like,
oh, you want to attach on the fame like I did. There's only one Cianan in this group. No, but I'm on the podcast, bitches.
But it was different. Like, if you see, you're probably one of our more streamed episodes still to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, though, you're like our boy for like our boy. You're like our boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, it's different. It's different.
Oh, you had my dick hard. Then you just
naturally,
made it all soft,
naturally, you were just gonna.
It was what? Being a boyfriend doesn't make your dick hard?
No.
Well, forget you.
But yeah, guys, it's not to say that we don't want everybody on the podcast, but not everybody's going to get on this podcast.
It is going to be because we only do it once a week.
Once every other week.
Every other week. And it's, there
are a lot of people, not to say that other people are more interesting than you, but they are. So, but, you know, not everyone's gonna get a chance to be on the podcast. Like that's just what it is. A reality. You know, not to say again, we're not trying to be fucked up or anything.
But you can always call in.
You can always
That's right. Nobody has yet to call. We've been saying that for the past 3-4 episodes.
Well, because we have to get an itinerary of when people are gonna call.
People are shy as fuck.
It needs to be scheduled.
Yeah.
I have people hitting me up like, hey, this thing you said here. And I'm like, oh, why don't you call us in and correct us? And they're like, oh,
that's the other thing too, is we bring someone on and then all of a sudden they choke. Like that. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of people say they're nervous.
Or what if like the whole time just because they can't even believe they're on the show.
What are we gonna talk about? Like, we don't talk. Have you ever listened to the podcast?
I love.
What are we gonna talk about?
We should have submitted this talk to the competition of shitting on people coming on the podcast.
Don't ask me what the fuck we're gonna talk about on the podcast if you're trying to be on this podcast, because
we talk about everything.
We don't talk about shit. and everything at the same time.
It's
like
none of our business.
So there's no focus here. We're just chopping it up, being stupid.
Gotcha. And maybe that's how amazing. I vibed when I came in wanting to do it. I was ready to go and start talking about.
Also, you just whipped out your dick and intimidated us.
I did, didn't I? I did.
You took it out, and there was a BBC.
It was no surprise. I've
known
forever. So yeah, we got Sheila. Potentially in 2 weeks. I don't know, depending on whether Melissa's in town or not, and Marcus is able to or not. Well, we're gonna either have Melissa, which is our sister, and or Marcus. And
then we got a Coachella episode.
Danny's not going to be a part of it. Didn't you mention
potentially Danny?
Right, if he can make it to.
Shout out to Danny. Danny.
So it'll be dope. Yeah. Then later on we have what do we have?
We've got like a series of guests, don't we?
Yeah.
Like, we have more booked guests than I think like we expected.
Yeah, we got
well, we don't want to give away anyway.
But
we don't know. We don't know if people are going to stick to it.
Yeah, just it's going down next couple of weeks.
But thank you, everyone out there, for supporting and listening and making it so popular that I do feel like a celebrity when people like mention it to my face. It's like I get all blush. It's like, oh man.
So you would make a bad celebrity, huh?
Yeah,
I would fuck with people. It's like
when people hit us up and or like they'll hit me up and like, yo, your podcast was dope. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I'll be at work and somebody will come approach me at work. Like the other day I got a call from somebody at All Access, one of the sales guys. And he's like, yo, I heard your podcast. Like you do podcasts. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
Is this somebody I would
no, you
okay, good. I hate that company.
So he was like, yo, you fucking you do a podcast. I heard your episode. I'm like, yeah, I do, man. No, thanks. So he's like, yeah, man, I just heard about it. I'm like, so somebody else is talking to you about it. So that was kind of dope.
It feels weird, but it feels good. Like because I guess I've never been a part of something like this before, or I always wanted to be a part of something. And then
so that's what it's like to be really good looking all the time. People are just nice to you for no fucking reason. You're not even funny and they just laugh at all your jokes.
So I want to congratulate us here, guys. We're on episode 20.
Yes,
this is our 20th episode.
Damn, if I would have paid more attention, I would have did something bigger, like champagne.
We're doing well. Just so you guys know, our seasons, we are going to be running seasons. 25. So our seasons are going to be 25 episodes. I'll discuss it with you guys before we even go past that. But 25th episode coming. It's
what? I once saw Gary Vee say, if you want me on your podcast, don't talk to me until you have like 40 episodes in.
Who said that?
Gary Vee.
Wait,
Gary Vee could suck my dick.
I was going to say their name out again.
You know what? Gary Vee would probably like, you can suck my dick because he's competitive and all that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I don't give a fuck
about Gary Vee. People,
man, I will put this in his ear.
Gary Vee in a fucking pedestal.
I don't even know who Gary Vee is.
Fuck Gary Vee.
Like, I don't know who are you? Where are you from? Are you even like that name is even stupid. Fuck you.
You're an inspiration to so many people, but you say shit that is
inspiration to my nuts.
Like you're saying, wake up in the morning, guys. I mean, come on.
Wake up with my fat dick in your mouth.
Wake up. Gary Vee can suck.
Unless you're Gary Vee. Gary Vee suck everybody's dick.
Wow.
Suck so many dicks that you're tired of sucking dick and then suck more dick.
But if you want to be on this podcast,
we love you.
Just
come through.
Hit up Philly because he'll suck your dick.
Hey, whoa! First of all,
have you guys ever sucked a dick before?
No.
Or like licked like the tip just to see what it tastes like?
I can't say I have.
What was it like, Cianan?
I don't know, but I'm not like I'm curious or anything.
He's like, but I'm not against it. You know,
it's like Louis. It's like what did Louis C.K. say? He's like. Thing is, like, it probably takes courage. Like, it takes something out of you. I think even women, like, it just takes something out of you every dick you suck.
Yeah, I wonder if because I think I even asked my ex this. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I was curious. Like, I wonder. The next girl I sleep with, if she goes down on me, I'm gonna have to ask her what my dick tastes like.
Wow.
So I'm curious.
I'm
really curious what my dick tastes like.
All right.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 20 of the None of Our Business podcast. We're your hosts, Filthy Cianan and Joe. Fucking shit up.
Wait a minute. We haven't done our soapbox talk.
Oh, shit. God damn it.
We always. All right.
Motherfuckers.
You know, I'm always ready, Joe. you know this, and this you know this, man.
We're coming right back. Now it is time for the soapbox talk, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna kick it off with Cianan, Mr.
Don't drop the soapbox.
Box talk.
As always, I have a soapbox because I'm a walking soapbox. My whole life is, and I always think and contemplate in the car, and it's when I'm shitting or when I'm masturbating. I'm always thinking. So here's one thing. Go ahead.
Get to the fucking point.
Okay. I see. Okay. I see why you don't want any interruptions. Thought we can talk as much as we want. I thought that was
what you mean.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You could be serious. But at least for my soapbox, I don't care if there's any back and talk for it, because I don't care.
What?
Or if you wanted to chime in, I don't care. But so here's my soapbox, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and I hope it doesn't ruin my chances for any ladies out there. But the 79 cent per dollar theory or belief system that like most women or all women in the workplace get paid 79 cents to the dollar to a man, and if you don't have the same schooling as somebody else, you may not get paid as much. And that's one thing you really should be concerned about. Like if you have the same knowledge, whether you go to community college or private school or state school or something like that, but your company or the boss is like went to Stanford and you went to like El Camino Community College and they pay you less because of that. That's out there, and that's a real thing. And recruiters tell people stuff about that. Sometimes you get friends with the owner of the company and stuff like that, and your boys and your homies, so they're going to toss you probably some extra cash compared to other employees out there. I've worked at many places where the women get paid more than me, and we're doing the exact same job. But I don't go in there and go, hey, it's unfair because she's a woman and I'm a man, and because I'm a man, I should get paid more than her. It's like, no, she went to like fucking Berkeley, and she has 5-10 years of experience doing what I do, and she's been with the company. That's another thing. Maybe you don't have the work experience or the educational knowledge, but if you've been working at that company longer than I have, then you definitely should get paid more. There's a lot of complications and elements involved with that where you can't just cut it down to this one little segment and say this is how it is for everywhere around the world or in America. And I truly and I was speaking to a woman who works in my field and agreed with this. With like, it does have a lot of qualifications before you can start asking for certain types of money. And some people just don't even know. I actually worked at a job where I could ask for more money, but I didn't know I could. I was judging my own experience and all this stuff. And then when I found out somebody else got paid more than me, I was like, oh shit, I could have asked for more money. So that's my soapbox talk. I love you all, and ladies and everything. You got to really hone down and meet and talk to these people and go, do you have this? 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 Do you have that? Do you do this and that and that in this way? Okay, maybe you should get what you're asking for.
I think the only thing I do want to speak on is I had put out something that I wanted to start like a men's group, but as I thought about it more and more, even though some people I got a couple of emails, people were like, yo, I'm sincerely interested. What would that be like? Would we meet, actually drink beers, because I've been in part of so many organizations before, and how it just turns out to be like a dinner group, like a overpriced dinner group that you pay money to the group. I definitely would never want it to be some kind of thing where you pay dues for something. Just the only commitment I would ever want would be for us to just hit each other up and say, are we still doing this Saturday? Yeah, great. Okay, cool. If not, why? Okay, well, we want to see you there, right? But what I'm getting at is, I think a lot of people out there are afraid of becoming a part of something bigger than themselves because they think they would bring nothing to the table. And for a long time, I used to be part of those groups and look at some people and go, why are they even here? Like, what do they bring to the table? Without realizing that sometimes the whole point of those groups is to help people become people who can bring something to the table. And we could sit here and complain all day about the way the world is, but if you're not doing anything about it, then shut the fuck up. If you're not doing anything by building up a group where people can become better people and you want to sit there and complain, then shut the fuck up. If you have a complaint and you're not bringing a solution and advocating for it and putting in the effort, then all it is a complaint. That's all it ever will be until you take action on it. And I've realized that I take on a lot of shit, and as other people do, but I don't want to break promises. I don't want to take on something and then not keep it going. After a certain point, after many failed projects, you know, whether it's been in music or any kind of business, after a while, you get tired of the bullshit, of the half commitments, including from yourself. And much worse than failure is mediocrity. Why would you want to put out something half-baked? Like, I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but that's like trying to put a half-hard dick into your partner's vagina. You know they're not enjoying it, and neither are you. You're kind of like, oh, well, let me get it. But point is, not that ever happens to me or anything. I'm not, but what I'm just trying to use an analogy that everyone can relate to, I think. Right? No. All I'm saying is this, is there's a lot of half-baked promises and a lot of complaints. And I would like people to take a closer look at the promises that they're making and whether or not they can actually keep them and who you're inviting to be part of your groups and how you really feel about it, especially when you have complaints about the way the world works and you're not doing something about it. So that's just my piece.
Lay it on the
God, you guys are fucking.
Are you contesting everything?
Oh, how am I supposed to fucking follow up your guys' shit? My soapbox talk is in regard to something that we did lightly touch upon last week, regarding these fucking rich kids and their parents paying their way into colleges. Do not ever talk to me about affirmative action and how it's bad. Now, you disagree with me on this one, but I don't give a fuck, because you got fucking rich ass parents, and they're not all white, but you got rich ass parents paying for their kids, some of which who don't even care about school, taking up these spots for people who actually deserve the spot. So if you have an issue with affirmative action, this is even worse, because these are people who have no interest. At least affirmative action puts someone who, regardless of whether or not they're educationally on par with somebody else, those kids still want to go to school. They still want to be in a school. They still want to go get a higher education. What these parents are doing is putting kids who don't even really care about school just so they could have the clout, just so they could have the notoriety, just so they could get ahead in life. So if you're telling me that there wasn't an issue doing that, then you can't tell me shit about affirmative action. You can't tell me shit about immigrant parents coming to this country to get their kids ahead, to get their kids a better life, because that's exactly what these parents were doing when they paid coaches and administrators and all this shit so that their children can have a better life. That's a far shittier thing to do than to have immigrant parents come here to work for their children's education, to have affirmative action for kids who wouldn't usually get a spot in a school. That's far worse than all of that shit. So fuck you, parents, for doing that shit, for thinking that was going to better your children, because guess what? Your fucking kids are still going to be pretentious fucks that are fucking rich, that go to schools that they don't deserve to go to so they could get fucking drunk and do bullshit. So you took away somebody's scholarship for crew, for rowing or whatever. You took away somebody's scholarship for fucking soccer that could have been there and earned their way in there and become a star and all this shit. You've taken away from a lot of people who deserve to be there when your children didn't, just because you wanted them to go to a better school or a school of notoriety. So fuck you, parents. And I'm not going to talk about the whole celebrity situation because that's the least important thing about this. The fact that there were celebrities involved shouldn't be surprising, but that should not be the focus. There are other people. There are Fortune 500 fucking entrepreneurs that are in this scandal. There are people who by any sense of the word should not be paying for their kids to fucking get to these places. Their children should have already had a far better education than other people for you to have to pay for your kid to be in there. So fuck you. Fuck all of you. Eat a dick, you bitch ass motherfuckers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was episode 20 of the None of Our Business podcast for real this time. We are your hosts, Filthy, Cianan. I'm Joe. Hey. Yeah.
Take up my spot, take away my education, but it really doesn't matter cause this ain't emancipation. I'ma bring it all back right now. I had to let you know it's time for me to go and get out the ghetto flow. Just to let you know it ain't about whether you're getting more dollars than me. It doesn't matter if you're working harder, you're putting in that work. The only thing that should matter is if you're putting in the sweat equity. And if you put in the sweat, then you should get respect, and you should get what you expect. But if you don't expect a damn thing. No handouts from me, not even damn rings. You better earn it. You came to earn it. Pass me your blunt and I might help you burn it. Pay for this motherfucking toast ho. Pay for this motherfucking toast room. Pay for this motherfucking toast show. Oh, this is the NOOB.
Eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick.